Kathy Romano.
All right, today's Wednesday, August 25th. Good morning, Kathy.
Good morning. In the news this morning, the Philadelphia School Board voted unanimously Tuesday night to mandate that its 20,000 teachers and staff members be vaccinated against COVID-19, but details of when the mandate would go into place are still being worked out, school district officials said. The move comes as other state and local mandates for teacher vaccinations are being put in place, including New Jersey Governor Phil Murphy's mandate Monday that teachers and school staff statewide be vaccinated by October 18th or submit to regular testing. New York Public Schools also issued a no-option vaccination mandate for the city's 148,000 public school teachers and staff Monday. Details for the Philadelphia school mandate are still being worked out with the union that represents teachers and other school employees. Board members and student ambassadors asked if the students in a classroom will know if their teacher has been vaccinated. Acting Philadelphia Health Commissioner Cheryl Bedigol, who attended the virtual board meeting, said that information would be protected under health privacy laws. Unlike New Jersey, the Philadelphia resolution, as presented, did not allow teachers to opt out of vaccination for other reasons. Philadelphia schools will reopen next week, and for many of the district's 120,000 students, it will be the first time that they have attended in-person classes since 18 months ago when the city first announced the COVID-19 lockdowns. The district has been preparing for the return of students August 31st, announcing a mask mandate for students and staff earlier this summer and a weekly testing regimen for staff, as well as twice weekly testing for students in competitive sports and other activities.
When I was hearing this story and I was, the kids are returning to school, I'm like, oh man, isn't that early? And I'm like, no, it's not. Yeah. Where did the summer go?
Yeah.
Yep. For crying out loud.
It is early. Most schools are going back before Labor Day. The past couple of years, most of the schools, or a lot of the schools went back after Labor Day. But, after the pandemic and kids being home, I think it's like, all right, let's just get them into the classroom.
Right.
2 people are dead and 5 others are injured, including a young teenager following multiple shootings in Philadelphia Tuesday night. Around 10:30, police say 37 shots were fired in the city's Brewerytown section. Officers found a man who was shot multiple times near the intersection of 26th and Montgomery. There's no immediate word on his condition. At 9:14 in North Philadelphia, a 14-year-old male was shot multiple times in the 2100 block of North 18th Street. He was rushed to the area hospital where he's currently listed in critical condition. A 47-year-old man shot and killed at 8:30 on the 400 block of Bussey Street. Police say he suffered a fatal gunshot wound to the chest. In the 5000 block of Germantown Avenue, a 28-year-old man was shot in the thigh at 8:12. He is currently listed in stable condition. Yeah, it was like a
war zone.
Night. Yeah. Minutes before the Germantown Avenue shooting, police say a man was killed after being shot multiple times at North Lee Street. Earlier in the afternoon, a 20-year-old man was shot in the ankle in the 300 block of Somerset Street at about 4:15. That man is listed in stable condition, and then a 19-year-old was rushed to the hospital after being shot at 3:30 at 57th and Spruce Streets. He's listed in critical condition. No arrests have been made in connection to any of these shootings. So police are asking if you have any information at all, any tips, to please call them. It's 215-686-TIPS. Longtime meteorologist and reporter David Murphy is retiring from 6ABC next month.
Oh, you didn't hear that? Yeah. It just came over this morning. Kathy pointed it out.
Murph.
Yeah. After 3 decades with Action News, Murphy joined Action News in 1990 as a general assignment reporter before becoming a meteorologist in 2004. He has been the weekday morning meteorologist for the past 17 years. He earned seals of approval from both the American Meteorological Society and the National Weather Association, and holds a certificate in broadcasting meteorology from Mississippi State University.
Don't leave off his biggest credit, Kathy. The film Holy Moses.
That's right. We mention that every time we talk to him. Oh, man.
As a weather reporter, Murphy covered hurricanes in North Carolina and Louisiana, as well as 2 major tornadoes that eerily hit the same area 7 months apart in Moore, Oklahoma. He has produced Action News feature reports on numerous aspects of local Delaware Valley weather. Memorable news assignments include the Oklahoma City Federal building bombing and the attacks against the World Trade Center, both in 1993 and 2001. Prior to joining Action News, Murphy was a reporter in Baltimore, Wilkes-Barre, Scranton, and in Allentown. Murphy is a graduate of Temple University, where he received a Bachelor of Arts degree in communications. Murphy and his wife, Barbara, have 3 children, and they reside in suburban Philadelphia. Murphy has requested that if you see him, to be sure to call out, Yo Murph. He says he loved the greeting, and he loved hearing Philadelphia viewers call him that as they watched him on TV for 31 years. Murphy's final day with Action News is September 7th. So
wow, we got to get him on.
We got to get him on. For sure.
This is like a quick, sometimes people announce and it's like next year or in the new year or whatever. So his last day will be on September 7th. So yeah, hopefully we can talk to him.
Would you mind having him to your side there, Preston, to deliver the weather every morning?
I would love to have that. If we could arrange that, I would love that.
But we still want him to wear the suit.
You know what's funny about Murph, and we've been longtime friends with him, and I remember when, because we, the people that we're close with at 6ABC, we have their personal phone numbers.
Sure,
and we chat and text and all this and that, but Murph doesn't have a smartphone or never did. He was like, I'm one of those rare people that I don't use email or my phone. If I remember, that's correct.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
He's old school.
Him?
Yeah, I text him, but I don't think he's got a phone that takes text.
Well, maybe he marches through his. I mean, you got to figure he's
maybe
using some.
I don't know.
does.
Case, does he?
No, yeah, he just
didn't give it to
he
you.
might not have a smartphone where he can look up the internet.
Right.
Like
but
a
I
jitterbug.
text him all the time.
Oh, you do? I didn't know that. Okay.
Pictures of my nutsack. And,
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
Hey,
Well,
great
send him a
nutsack.
text, man.
Yeah.
We need to, in fact,
wanna get him on?
our schedule's
Well, now.
kind of light today, dude. Let's see if he wants to go on today. I would love to talk to him.
Okay.
All right, Casey's texting him. Okay, let's do sports in the meantime.
Ball sacks are yummy. Where's the dolphin?
I was waiting.
Empty. It's like, what the? My bad. I'm texting David Murphy.
Nelson Cruz returned from the COVID-19 list, played first base for the first time in his career, and hit a tie-breaking 2-run double in the 8th inning for the Tampa Bay Rays, who beat the Philadelphia Phillies 3-1 on Tuesday night.
What is this?
The teams conclude the 2-game series on Wednesday night. The Phillies will send ace Zach Wheeler to the mound, while Tampa Bay hasn't announced a starter. 8 months after taking over as Phillies president of baseball operations, Dave Dombrowski made his first significant personnel changes when he announced a shakeup at the top of the team's player development department Tuesday. Assistant General Manager Brian Minetti, who had overseen scouting and player development since September of 2017, and Josh Bonifay, the team's director of player development since October 2018, were removed from their roles. Jorge Valendia, who became the assistant general manager when Dombrowski was hired in December, will oversee player development until a new hire is made. And the Eagles traveled up the Turnpike on Monday and had a joint practice with the Jets yesterday. The final preseason game against the Jets is Friday night. Kickoff is scheduled for 7:30. And that's what I have for you this morning.
All right, thank you very much, Kathy. We welcome you to a Wednesday morning, and a couple things to bring you up to speed on. We have a secret text word today, and we have a chance for you to win some passes to go and see the Phils and Diamondbacks game on Sunday, which is cool. It's a 105 game, Citizens Bank Park, of course. And it's actually back to school day. So they're going to have all kids 14 and under receive a back to school gym bag.
Nice.
You can buy tickets through Phillies.com, or you can enter to win right now. Just text the word secret to 39333, and we will send a word back to you, and we'll ask you to call in later on with that word we send, and we'll see if you know it and give away the tickets, and then we'll grab a random texter as well. So get on that secret to 39333. We're also going to announce a show later on this morning. We have the T-Mobile cooling caravan that is headed out today with our friends at Duncan.
Perfect day.
We are headed to a couple of locations to spread the cool love, and we'll get the details of where we are headed to a little bit later on this morning. But if you would like us to stop by your office or work site, you can enter on the contest page at WMMR.com. Just include a little bit about where you work, and a few winners will be chosen to cool off and speed up your day with a visit from the Duncan Community Cruiser with some free iced coffee. So make sure that you do that at some point today. And we are going to speak to a guest later on this morning in the 8 o'clock hour. Terrible news came down. We'll touch on it a little bit coming up in the entertainment report, but I'm sure you've heard by now that Charlie Watts from the Rolling Stones passed away at 80 years old. So we are going to have our friend David Wisickanen from the Hooters on, who's not only a great drummer, but he's just a big music fan. And I believe the Hooters through the years have had encounters with the Rolling Stones. And I don't know if David had met Charlie or not, but we'll find out. We'll talk to him later on. But David's a great wealth of knowledge just in music history and also in drummers in particular. So we'll get his take on Charlie and all of that. And it was just terrible to hear yesterday. So we have these things and more taking place through this Wednesday morning. So let's go ahead, take a break, return in a moment or two, and dive into that entertainment report and some stupid question prizes and whatnot. We'll be right back.
Preston and Steve on
WMMR.
All right, so the stupid question this morning, pair ticket to see Kings of Leon. They're going to be playing Sunday, BB&T Pavilion. And the question I have for you is, Scarlett Johansson is a twin brother. What's his name? 215-263 WMMR. Yeah.
You didn't know that case?
Scarlett Johansson is a twin brother. What is his name? Let's see if you know. 215-263 WMMR. It is Wednesday, August 25th. We'll mention some birthdays today while we'll wait for your answer. I normally end with this, but it's Kathy's birthday today!
Thank you.
Kathy Romano on this day
31 years ago.
in 1922.
That's right. No, you're wrong.
Now, what is your age, if we don't mind?
43, 1978.
43 years old
Yeah.
today. Kathy Romano, born.
I believe I was born at 1:23 in the afternoon.
Oh, really?
Oh, nice and leisurely.
Yeah, that's a good time
Yeah.
to have a baby.
Yes, my mom had a terrible birth.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the delivery for all three of us. They say it gets easier as it goes on. Mine was terrible. My brother was awful, and then Christopher. They didn't think either of them were going to make it. Like honestly, the doctor was very concerned.
No kidding.
Yeah, she had terrible deliveries. So, yeah, thanks, Mom.
So when Kathy came out, she actually spoke. The first thing she saw that pubic hair, and she said, "Ew."
Yeah.
So her first word.
When you looked up, did you see your mother that you know now, or was it Janis Joplin?
They were both there.
Well, it just says on my screen here we have someone special who wants to say hello, and I think I can guess probably who this is. Hello, special someone.
Happy birthday to
Yes.
How you doing, Kat?
Hi, Gary.
How you doing, my sweet little desert flower?
Oh,
Little desert flower.
I'm great. How are you?
Happy birthday, sweet tea.
Thank
Kathy
you.
Romano.
Thank
I love
you.
you, buddy. Happy birthday, bud.
Did you
Bud, bro.
Thank you so much.
Did you stay up all night waiting for this moment, Gary?
I'm getting ready to watch the Little League World Series at 7 o'clock there, Preston.
Really? We didn't know you were a big fan of the Little League, Gary.
Come on, man. We didn't have it last year. You have to support these little kids. These kids play with more heart than the pros.
Wow.
Look at you. Yeah, you're very
great, Gary.
passionate about Little League, Gary. Good for you.
How you doing, Steve?
I'm doing well, man. We're just excited about Kathy's birthday.
Yeah, me too. I wish I was there. I would dress up for her and dance for her and give her the best show she would ever see.
You mean, are we talking like Chippendales level, or what would you do?
I got a 5%, man.
Yeah.
Captain Sweet Tea Romano's got a mind for business. I got the 5%.
The bod for
Someone's a working girl fan.
Has that ever happened? Like, has Gary done a dance for? Like, there had to have been something.
I was out in that Gnosticator bus. Remember, Cap? And I was knocking on it. You were knocking on the door.
Oh.
Yes, when we did the
Yeah,
Yeah, I remember.
The Groundhog Day.
Yeah.
And I nailed it. Anyway,
You did, Gary. You did.
I think you're the greatest mom in the world. I hope you have a great day and a wonderful weekend, my love.
Okay, thanks, Gary. Thank
All
you
right,
for
Gary.
calling. Love you.
Oh, I love you more, kid.
All right, take care, Gary.
I think you guys have to resolve this in the bedroom.
Thank you, Preston.
You're welcome, bud. We'll see you
Love you,
later.
Gary.
All right.
Bud.
You nailed it, by the way.
He did
All right.
nail it.
Oh my God, I nailed it. It's great.
Well, one of the things we're going to do this morning for Kathy's birthday is we have a special stopping by today. The New York Bagel Butler
yes.
is coming in today with
Yes.
bagels brought from New York City. I've never had a New York bagel.
Oh, my
Oh,
gosh.
you've never had?
with a lot
Okay.
of schmear on it now, all that.
Yeah.
So
Oh, that's great.
I'm dying for this.
So cool.
Yay.
Oh, I
so-
was wondering when that was coming in.
Yes,
Because
today.
I was like, I'm ordering it. Steve, I'm ordering it for us. And Marissa was like, well, just wait. I was like, okay.
Yeah, New York Bagel Butler's going to be by around 9-ish or something this morning. So a fresh batch of
Nice
bagels.
bagel, nice schmear,
Kathy's
nice piece
birthday
fruit.
today. Nice piece fruit. All right, some other birthdays to mention. Sharing a birthday with Kathy Romano, Tim Burton, the director. He is 63 years old today. My daughter showed me over the weekend the movie Coraline. I had never seen it before.
Oh, yeah, it's a really sweet
great.
movie. Yeah, really nice.
Yeah.
I love that. He's responsible for Big Fish and Ed Wood, two of my favorite movies of all time.
Wait, Coraline is not a sweet movie. The creepy one?
Yeah, it's creepy,
Oh,
but
yeah,
it's
all right.
got a nice
It's
heart
got a
to
good
it.
heart to
Yeah,
it.
yeah, okay.
But it's a freaky Tim Burton movie.
It has to be.
Stop motion.
I always say to Jace, all you have to do is sew buttons in your eyes. And he's like, stop it, it's freaking me out.
Tim Burton. Then you have Billy Ray Cyrus. Yeah. One of the great greatest mullets in the history of hair.
Hardcore. And there were a lot of women who dug Billy Ray Cyrus.
Oh, yeah.
Most definitely a good-looking guy, for sure. And a big one for him. He is 60 years old
What
today.
was his Little Nas X? What was the...
Oh, God.
Old Country Road?
Old Country Road.
yeah.
That's it, yeah.
Oh, wow. Then you have Claudia Schiffer. She turns 51 years old today.
longtime squeeze of David Copperfield.
That's right. I remember that. All right. In the world of metal, it is a big birthday today. The one and only Rob Halford turns 70 years old.
Love Rob Halford.
He is, not only is he a great frontman and a hardcore screamer, but he is a funny guy, too.
He is.
We had him on years ago, and we played Screaming for Vengeance. So there's this part where the song stops. He just screams at the top of his lungs. I go, ladies and gentlemen, Rob Halford. And he goes, yes, the Screaming Queen is here. When he came out as gay, it was a big deal, man.
You know, though, I remember it like... Yeah, it was kind of wild, but it was funny because when he talks about it, he says, here I was dressing the part for years.
Yeah.
You had people adopting the style, unaware, but he is like, he did a Christmas album for crying out loud. He's great.
He's awesome. Happy 70th to Rob Halford. Oh, it's Gene Simmons' birthday
Oh,
today.
wow.
Yeah, Gene is 72. He's got 2 years on Rob.
Preston, I just wanted to call in Kathy Romano. Happy birthday, sweet tea. My little desert flower.
Thank you, Gene.
Gene Simmons is a trip, man. He's a character and a half, no question.
Yeah, legend, you know, and the guy always has something to say. In fact, you'll probably have something later on in music news about that.
Actually, yeah. So he is celebrating his 72nd birthday today. Then you have the great Tom Skerritt, actor. He was Viper in Top Gun, Alien, Contact, Picket Fences, the original MASH, the movie.
You know what?
Tom Skerritt was in
I
that.
think he gives one of his best heartfelt performances as the sheriff in The Dead Zone, where he is trying to figure out who's committing these murders, and he just can't do it.
Yep, he's 88 today. Rachel Ray has her birthday today. Rachel's show has been on for it lasted a lot longer than I thought it would. She is 53 today.
We had a moment. I did an interview with her, an in-person interview with her a few years back, and we talked about having the same birthday. And she said we were birthday sisters, and so we had a moment. But
you had a good time. In fact, that's how I confirmed it was your birthday today by checking on that Rachel Ray article.
Right.
I was thinking about the first time we had Bert Kreischer in, and we just talked about him being on the Rachel Ray show.
Oh, yeah.
Remember that? Because we were flashing back to, he was going back over all of his visits to us.
Right.
And those first couple times, we're just talking about those adventure shows.
Yeah, he actually did a whole bunch of things with her. Like he did a skydiving segment on the show.
By the way, he and Tom Segura had a lengthy discussion about all of his appearances on our show just the other day.
It was great.
Which was really cool. Then you have actor John Savage, Steve, of course, from The Deer Hunter.
Yeah, he's great.
Do the Right Thing, Thin Red Line, a bunch of stuff. He's 72 today. Vivian Campbell, great guitar player. Def Leppard, Dio, Whitesnake, to name a few. He celebrates his 59th birthday today. But happy birthday, Vivian Campbell. Two other birthdays. Actually, a couple more than that. Alexander Skarsgard.
The Skarsgard clan.
There's a whole bunch
the
of
acting
them now.
Skarsgards.
He played Eric Northman on True Blood.
He was also the Little White Lies?
Big Lies.
Pretty Little Lies.
Pretty Big Lies.
That's it.
Those are pretty big lies.
Pretty Big Lies?
No, I mean, we're making that up.
He's Nicole Kidman's husband?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Pretty Little Lies.
Pretty Little Lies. Who knows?
He is 45. The
Big Little Lies.
Big Little Lies. What did I say?
You were thinking Pretty Little Liars, which was a teen drama.
And then Big Little Lies is the Nicole Kidman.
Okay.
All right.
Did I say Pretty Little Lies?
No, I think you were
Kathy
saying Little
did.
Lies and I added Pretty.
Okay. Yeah.
All right, thank you.
Check the tape.
He's 45. Then Blake Lively celebrates her 34th birthday today. Yeah, she's pretty perfect, man. And her and Ryan Reynolds, they make a great couple.
I love their birthday jabs at each other.
Yes. Oh, and it's Casey's sister's birthday.
Jody turns 50 today. So,
Wow, big birthday for her.
Big birthday for her, and I just want to remind her publicly that
you already got her a gift?
I already bought you your birthday present, so if you don't get anything from me and my family today, it's because we got it for you a month ago. So
I heard the story in the elevator this morning. Jody, you got something at the Majestic store at the Phillies game.
Or the New Era store, I think it's called now. But I completely forgot, Press. It was one of those things where I was like, crap, I didn't get her anything yet. And then I forgot. We were all at the Phillies game a month ago, and I was like, I took her to the New Era store. I said, for your birthday, get anything you want.
Oh, okay. I got you. You never forget birthdays.
No. And I know he's gone, but I always remembered that I shared a birthday with Regis Philbin.
Oh, really? Would be Regis' birthday today. No kidding.
Listen, how you doing, sweet tea? My little desert flower. Not exciting up here in heaven, so I wish I was down there giving you a nice big bear hug on your birthday.
A posthumous birthday to the great Reg. All right, we'll see if somebody knows the answer to this question. Scarlett Johansson is a twin brother. What is his name? And I will go to Cameron for the answer. Yo, Cameron, good morning. Gadzooks, Cameron. All right, her twin brother's name is?
Hunter Johansson.
You got it. Hold on a moment. Hunter Johansson, we got a pair of tickets to see Kings of Leon, the When You See Yourself tour with Cold War Kids, and that is Sunday, BB&T Pavilion. Some tickets remain via Ticketmaster. I'm just going to touch on the big entertainment story, and we're going to expand on it a little later on, but the news broke yesterday, and Pierre was just beaten up about the fact that Charlie Watts of the Rolling Stones had passed away. He was 80 years old. He had been sitting out the Stones tour due to an unspecified illness, and obviously it was more serious than anyone had understood. Maybe within the inner circle they knew, but nonetheless, an official statement was released that said, "It is with immense sadness that we announce the death of our beloved Charlie Watts. He passed away peacefully in a London hospital earlier today, surrounded by his family. Charlie was a cherished husband, father, and grandfather, and also as a member of the Rolling Stones, one of the greatest drummers of his generation. We kindly request that the privacy of his family, band members, and close friends is respected at this difficult time." So it's a really interesting story about him, and like I said, we'll go into further detail a little bit later on. Our friend David Wasikinen of the Hooters fame, great drummer and a huge music fan, is going to be checking in with us to give his take on Charlie as a drummer in his life, and I believe they may have crossed paths.
I think they did, yeah. But certainly he is as good a source as you're going to get to be able to talk about what Charlie Watts meant. Did you see the picture that was making the rounds? Our listener, I think John, had put it up originally on Twitter, Preston. It was Charlie Watts meeting Neil Peart.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So I know the story behind that.
Oh, you do? Yeah.
Actually, and it freaked Neil out.
Oh, wow.
They were, Rush was playing a SARS benefit in
Canada.
I was reading about this in Canada, and Rush, obviously Toronto natives, they were going to be one of the Stones were the headliners, and Rush was going on before them. And Neil likes to keep to himself backstage, and he's walking around like with headphones on, kind of minding his own business, trying to stay out of people's way, and all of a sudden somebody comes up and says, "Excuse me," and it was Charlie Watts. Like, Neil doesn't like to be disturbed. He likes to get his own. It was Charlie, and Charlie goes, "I'm going to be watching you." And so Charlie is a very straight-ahead drummer.
Yeah.
He doesn't do flashy stuff. Neil is a very aggressive player. But the fact that this legend said that to him got Neil nervous about his performance later on, and it was an interesting interaction that they had. And Geddy came up to Neil later on, and he's like, "I saw that. I saw that happen right there." So
I love
it was a really interesting interaction.
All right, so refresh my memory, Preston, because I don't know if it was Charlie or not, but who was sitting in our Y100 waiting room?
It was Bill Wyman.
That's who that was.
Bill Wyman, bassist for the Stones. I come walking down the stairs, and I almost ran into him. He was standing at the bottom of the stairs. I'm like, that's a Rolling Stone standing in front. It was so bizarre. He was there to do an interview, and wow.
You're in the bathroom later, you're at the latrine, you say to the guy next to you, "I just met Bill Wyman." It was Mick Jagger.
Wow.
It's
really weird.
Oh my God. Hey.
Yeah, I ran to Kevin Gunn's studio yesterday when Steve delivered me the news, and I asked, are there any interviews, any photos with Charlie? And he said he pretty much kept to himself. He was never the face of the band. He didn't do the interviews, didn't do that stuff.
Well, we will, like I said, we'll talk a little bit more about the extraordinary life of Charlie Watts a little bit later on. I do have some other lighter fare to get to. Fans of Bennifer went into overdrive when pictures of Ben Affleck browsing through Tiffany & Company hit the wires. Many assumed that Affleck was shopping for an engagement ring for Jennifer Lopez, whom he first asked to marry in 2002.
He needs to call Steven Singer.
They ultimately split after that, but there was nothing to this sighting, though. Sources tell E! Ben was reportedly in the midst of a scavenger hunt with his mom and his son.
That ends up at Tiffany's?
A source said, well, it was a catalog. So a source explained they split into teams with the daughter on team one and Ben, Sam, and his mom on the other. They went all around the mall. So, yeah, I guess they did go to the store, Steve. And into various stores, crossing off each of the items they found. One of the stops was into Tiffany, and they had to find something in the store. Ben walked in with his son and his mom and then quickly found what they needed and walked out. Ben held a pen and crossed it off his list.
When a celebrity like of that level walks into, you got to figure they have a protocol where they have their special salesperson.
Right.
Yeah. Let Henri
call ahead of time and say that they'll have an appointment and they'll take him into a private room or something like that.
Mr. Affleck will be at Spencer's later at 2:30. He'll
be in the black light section.
Yes, the black light section, and then the greeting cards with the very obese women on them.
But insiders tell us that the pair are considering eloping and are seriously talking about getting married.
Lopez.
I wouldn't doubt it if that happens. I would not doubt it at all.
This is a perfect example, if it is a perfect example. On the surface, it seems to be a perfect example of you had a missed opportunity, and now you're correcting that.
Yeah,
and that's sort of inspiring for a lot of people.
You're further along. You're wiser.
You've played Batman.
You've played Batman at this point.
And you've been great.
Yeah. So, and some people have played a stripper and been great as well, too.
Yeah.
So, yeah. All right, so this summer's Bachelor in Paradise was like no other. For the first time, the summer fave was not led by Chris Harrison, but is hosted by a rotating cast of celebrities, including Last Bance, rapper Lil Jon, actor Titus Burgess, Bachelor Nation alum Wells Adams, and David Spade, of course. And Spade, a self-proclaimed Bachelor Nation superfan, tells Variety that he's even considering it a permanent gig with the franchise.
Okay, so I told you I watched a bit of it the other night, expecting to see David Spade, and I never saw him. So you're saying that
they've had a rotating cast, I guess,
okay.
So.
I didn't even see a host when I watched it.
So he told creator Mike Fleiss that he was in if he could poke fun at the franchise. And Fleiss said, no, that's what we need. We need to change it. Just get something in there, keep it fun again, get people talking again. And so I think it worked as far as they let me do what I wanted. They kept the stuff that I want. He also said that this is a strange time for comedy. He said you used to have to say anything to go as far as you could to push the envelope to get attention, and people would be like, I like this guy, he's pushing it. And in comedy clubs, audiences really appreciate that. Now you say the one wrong move and you're canceled.
Yeah.
It's a very tough world out there, he said.
Has the show F-Boy Island premiered yet? I think it's on HBO Plus.
I don't know. I remember hearing about it.
I think so, because it. I actually end up on HBO Max quite a bit.
Yeah, so do I.
And it's a selection there.
It's an option, okay.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Jonah Hill is set to appear in Adam McKay's Don't Look Up alongside Leonardo DiCaprio, Jennifer Lawrence, and Meryl Streep. And there was a cover story about him on GQ Style, and he opened up about his therapist, a guy named Phil Stutz, and his toxic relationship with social media as well. So
he's married to Norma Stutz.
He is so into Stutz that he's making a documentary about it for Netflix. He said, Stutz invented a set of visualization techniques that greatly changed my life. Netflix let me take make a doc on therapy and Phil's teachings. And then it became about Phil's life, and then it became about how insane it is that I'm making a movie about my therapist. And now it's become, he said, I don't want to give too much away, but it's become very collapsed on itself. The person that I vent to while I'm making a film, I now can't vent to because the film is about him, and I can't let him know that it maybe isn't going to work.
I think most therapists would have advised against that, of breaching that wall, but I can understand what the deal is. I watched an interview, or I guess it was on GQ on their YouTube channel. They have a thing called Essentials, and so they'll take a celebrity and what can you not get through the week without? Products that they use, like Oprah's favorite things. Yeah. And man, Jonah, it's almost like he's trying out for Point Blank, like as one of the surfers. Point Break, yeah. You got to see the look. He's tatted up.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, he's got like blondish hair, like back with the beard. He looks totally Bodie-esque.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he had said that Stutz helped him become a better artist. He said, you know what the he said, you know what the first thing Phil Stutz said to me? First thing he said, you're not a good artist because you're effed up. You're a good artist in spite of being effed up. It's all a dumb mythology that you're supposed to be miserable to be talented, and it's so absurdist. He said, it's genuinely, I got healthier, my art got better, and I was happier. Straight up. I haven't seen misery bring better art out of anybody. I just haven't. Okay.
I like where this is going. I'm a big fan of creative visualization. I'd be curious to see what his doctor, or maybe now former doctor, is advising.
Now, as far as Instagram goes, he said, Instagram, as I smoke a cigarette, is the cigarettes of this time. It is the biggest killer. It is death, and I fully participate in it like I smoke cigarettes. Again, it's a spectrum of what you find healthy. I have to have really limited interaction with it.
I've had more people say to me that they spend time on the phone, and they I see them put it down, like I've got to break this habit. I'm addicted.
Right.
Yeah. So I believe that.
Yeah, totally. Jessica Chastain's transformation into televangelist Tammy Faye Baker for a biopic may have permanently ruined the Oscar-nominated star's skin. She told the LA Times
How could it not?
of her role in the eyes of Tammy Faye. I think for sure I've done some permanent damage to my skin on this.
Joaquin Phoenix wore less makeup in Joker.
She said, listen, I eat very pure and I take very good care of my skin and I stay out of the sun and all that stuff, but it's heavy. And when you're wearing it all day, meaning the makeup, every day, the weight of it on your body, it stretches your skin out. I finally took it off, and I was like, I look 50 years old. No, I'm kidding, but it's fine. It's for my art. But she wears, Tammy Faye wore tons.
No, I remember.
So.
But it didn't. So does she actually think it affected her or no?
I think if you have makeup pancaked on you for a long run, that's got to take its toll, right?
She said she spent several hours in the makeup chair every day having heavy makeup, prosthetics, and wigs applied to her skin.
There's too much effing S on me.
The film follows Tammy and her first husband, Jim Baker, who's played by Andrew Garfield, as they rise to prominence and then fall from grace during a sex scandal involving Jim and then secretary Jessica Hahn.
What a little turd Jim Baker was, man.
Oh, my God. He still is.
He still is.
Yeah.
Except he's almost completely bald now.
I know people who wear makeup like that, though, like every day, and I wonder if it is actually detrimental to them.
At the end of the evening, do you remove makeup? Do you you don't wear a lot of makeup to begin with?
I don't wear a lot of makeup anymore.
But you take it off before you go.
Oh my gosh!
Right? That you have to.
You know what is funny? So years ago, this was a long time ago, when Friends was in its heyday.
Right.
Phoebe, Lisa Kudrow, said she did an interview and she talked about how she just them putting the makeup on, how it bothered her so much. She would wash it off immediately. She would wash it off, and sometimes they would have to reshoot scenes and they'd have to put it back on her. But the second she could get it off, she could. And I always thought about that, and so I always took my makeup off. So now I don't wear tons of makeup, but if I do, absolutely comes off before the end of the day.
Well, on the very few times we've done television, Preston, you get that on and you're like, you get claustrophobic.
Yeah, it feels weird. Yeah, definitely. So I never knew this. Molly Shannon, remember her from Saturday Night Live? She was 4 years old when her mother, sister Katie, and a cousin were killed in a car crash.
Oh, wow.
Her father, who had been driving at the time under the influence of alcohol, was injured and had to relearn how to walk.
Oh, my gosh.
She and her older sister, Mary, who's now 58, were raised by him solo, although they lived with their aunt for a short time as he recovered. She had explained, the life that we left was not the same life we were coming back into. It just felt like everything was different, and I wanted my aunt to do stuff like my mom. I was like, no, my mom cuts the crust like that. Everything made me mad. And it also helped her tackle comedy with incredible passion. She said, I didn't care if I cut myself or made myself bleed. I did not give an S. And I look at it like punk rock. I was reckless, and because of what I went through, I just didn't care about anything. I had no idea she had that tragedy in her life.
You remember as the student, the superstar, what is the character's name?
Mary Catherine Gallagher.
Yeah, right. She would fling herself into chairs and stuff like that.
Yeah, heavy physical comedy.
Complete physical comedy, yeah.
Yeah, so I guess that was part of her not caring and just going for it. This is pretty wild. Tom Cruise made an unexpected stop in the English countryside while filming Mission Impossible on location. His helicopter landed in a family's garden when the nearby airport shut down, they told the BBC. According to Allison Webb, whose house it was, said, it turned out to be an incredible day It was surreal, and I still now can't believe it actually happened.
Do you know did you see the last Mission Impossible movie?
I don't think so.
Okay, so there's a scene where there is a helicopter chase. And
oh, yeah, I did see that.
Yeah,
and he's piloting something,
he
right?
piloted it. He learned how to fly a helicopter. And not only like just as a sort of a civilian pedestrian way, he flew the helicopter and was doing these sort of stunts for that sequence. I mean, it's insane how much he does with this stuff.
I saw a video this morning of this next film and some of it, because they like to do, practical effects when they can do them.
It's crazy.
And they drive a train off a cliff.
Yeah.
Did you see this?
I thought it was amazing.
It's awesome. So they took a real locomotive and they drive it off a cliff. It's pretty badass.
You gotta love that. The movies are really consistently really good.
Yep. All right, and then one more thing, and we'll move along. Before meeting his now girlfriend, Ann Anstead, the home
improvement guy,
home improvement dude, assumed that Renee Zellweger was a fellow Brit due to her Pitch Perfect Bridget Jones performance.
He's kind of stupid, isn't he?
Is he a Brit?
Yeah.
Okay, I know nothing about this guy.
I know that he's an ant.
The pair met on Anstead's Celebrity IOU Joyride and have since gone Instagram official with their romance. What is it? A Celebrity IOU?
That's a show.
Joyride?
Yeah,
really?
so we've talked about it. It's where like a celebrity like Brad Pitt wants to do something nice for somebody that is in his life. So I think it was his his makeup artist or something along those lines. So she went away. He completely redid her garage into and then Viola Davis has done it. Like they're getting
McCarthy? I saw Melissa McCarthy.
Melissa McCarthy, yeah.
Okay.
So they're getting like top level 8 celebrities to do these shows.
I think they get those people because some of them are actually fans of those shows.
Yeah,
they
they are.
Watch them. And
Renee Zellweger would be she was a huge fan.
Yep.
Oh, I forgot 2 more quick things. Aquaman star Jason Momoa told the Late Late Show on Monday that he and Dave Bautista are working on a buddy cop film.
That'd be great.
That sounds great.
They're both very likable.
The whole project was inspired by texts. Momoa told James Corden, he literally texted me 4 days ago going, we need to do a buddy cop film. We love each other. We are on Sea and Dune together. And I said, absolutely. And he said, let's do it in Hawaii. And I said, let's do it. I have an idea.
No.
That's what it took.
Let's do it in Hawaii. No, I don't want to go to Hawaii.
No, I can't go to Hawaii.
And Steve, what was Jason doing press for where he said he was a huge Flyers fan?
I forget what it was, but he goes off about loving the Flyers. And it was some sort of like Zoom case. Does it make a mention of what it's from?
So he's on. There's a Netflix movie that he's on where he is
a dad fighting a pharmaceutical company.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's the name of that? Dad fighting pharmaceutical.
That's what it is. Yeah.
But the Flyers had posted that yesterday. A video of him talking about what a big Flyers fan he is. So we like that. That's a good one in our pocket.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, that pretty much makes us best friends now.
And then, it's called Sweet Girl. That's right.
Yeah, I was close.
All right, and then one last story. Hulu's 9 Perfect Strangers with Nicole Kidman and Melissa McCarthy and Bobby Cannavale drew in the most viewers of a Hulu original ever.
Oh, over Handmaid's Tale?
Beating The Handmaid's Tale, The Act, and others. No hard numbers were released, but they are saying that it was the biggest one they've had.
So what do you think of it? You're watching it.
I'm liking it.
I was intrigued.
I'm in. It's still mysterious at this point. I've watched all 3 of the first episodes.
Okay.
And,
but do you sense something is...
Yeah, it's a nice ensemble cast.
Right.
There's some mystery to it. It's intriguing. It's got wisps of not cult, but mysterious guru thing that kind of draw you in,
Like the NXIVM sort of deal, maybe?
Yeah, but not exactly. But yes, this all-wise, knowing person that everybody's enamored with. Not everybody, but...
All right.
But it's interesting. So...
Cool.
Yeah, I'm on board. All right, clips. Yep. Let's do them. He's All That is a reimagining of the old classic She's All That. In this clip, star Matthew Lillard recalls shooting the awkward dancing scene in the original film. I remember that.
We went into a studio and we worked out the whole thing, and he was like, "Show me moves you like," and I'm like, "I don't know, what about this?" And it was a really collaborative thing, and we got to set, and I was terrified. I mean, it was one of those things that you read in a script, and you're like, "Oh my gosh, I'm going to have to do this," and doing it in front of 150 people was sort of terrifying.
That was a hilarious scene, if you remember that.
I like that movie a lot.
Yeah.
What's it about again? Is it
she's a
Amanda
geek,
Bynes?
she's a nerdy person, and they transform her by putting makeup on her.
And she
all of a
takes
sudden
off
she's
her
the most-
glasses.
Oh,
Yeah, she takes her glasses off, and she becomes the
haircut.
prettiest girl in the school.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it had moments. It definitely had moments.
What I liked about his character in that movie is that they were part of a sort of a faux
Real world. Yeah, and he thought he was the biggest star in the world because he was on this reality show, and his character is hilarious.
Yeah.
So his name in He's All That is not Brock Hudson like it is in the original one. So I don't know if he's playing like technically a different character or if his character changed.
Okay, all
But he's
right.
playing the principal at the school.
Oh, really?
It's probably not.
All right, He's All That will be streaming on Netflix this Friday. Here's the next clip. Coda shows the obstacles of a young girl balancing her schoolwork and earning a living for her hearing-impaired family. And in this clip, star Amelia Jones shares her experience with using sign language throughout the film.
It's so emotional acting in sign and just sign language in general. It's such a beautiful language. It's so physical. And I love that it kind of got me out of my head and allowed me to embody what I was saying. And I guess it kind of makes you feel you're more vulnerable because there are no words to hide behind.
Coda is now streaming on Apple TV. Hey, I want to go back a second. Somebody texted in this great. It says, 9 perfect strangers and no cousin Larry. What a bunch of crap.
Yeah.
Right?
True, yeah.
One of those.
Come on.
Larry
No cousin
Appleton.
Larry Appleton.
All right, that's the entertainment report for today. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, please sit down. Thank you. It's Kathy's birthday. I don't want to steal it.
Hey.
We have a couple things taking place today. We're going to talk about the life of Charlie Watts in the 8 o'clock hour. David Wisickanen, drummer from the Hooters, is going to be checking in. And we also have a last-minute addition to our guest list today. David Murphy from 6ABC announced his retirement.
He and I'll say this and be honest when I say it to him. He seems far too young to be
Totally.
retiring. Far too young.
And he's the probably
Kathy's much older.
likable guy.
I mean, let's not get out of hand.
On television. So we'll talk to Murph around 9 o'clock. We have an announcement, a show announcement coming up a little bit later on, and we're going live on Fox. Good day. We got a lot, man.
That's a lot.
We'll take a break, and we'll come back in just a moment. Hang on for the ride.
Our pens heads are falling off! Preston and Steve.
On 93.3 WMMR.
Live casino and hotel.
is in my neck of the woods, Nape of the Way, Harleysville.
Oh.
Yes, and it's Susan Taylor. She's actually working from home for a company called Trans Place. So she's having all her neighbors over.
That's pretty cool.
To participate with the Dunkin' Community Cruiser with free iced coffee. So that's a pretty awesome thing. In fact, I think I have an email from her. Yeah, it says, hey, my name is Susan Taylor. I've been working from home for the past year and a half. Due to the pandemic, I live in a large condo community that has been through a lot over that time period. Everyone has had their own struggles due to COVID. The playground and basketball court were shut down for over a year. The pool finally reopened this year, only to be closed half the time due to lifeguard shortage.
Yeah.
Everyone works really hard and is trying to find activities to bring the community together and have opportunities to get to know each other better. I thought a nice Dunkin' visit would be a great way to give everyone a break and the community together. We're very thankful that Preston, Steve, and T-Mobile are sending the Dunkin' Caravan to our community. Thank you so much. So that's great.
You stop and think about it. The normal mindset was, okay, we'll send it to office buildings or work sites. But now the home is the work site for so many people.
And since this is in condominiums, all the neighbors can come over.
There you go. It's like a big hoedown.
Participate in the wonderful town of Harleysville. So there you go. And then we have another stop on the way. We'll get to that a little bit later on. But if you would like to have the cooling caravan, the Dunkin' Community Cruiser, courtesy of our friends at T-Mobile, stop by with free iced coffee. All you have to do is go to WMMR.com. You'll find the contest page, and then you tell us where you work and include a little bit about the place, and maybe we'll stop by.
I love it.
It's that simple. Why not? All right, a few stories have settled into my file. It's a little place we call the junk drawer, and I would like to go through some stories just to make sure that we clean these out and get to them. By the way, go through your own junk drawer from time to time. That was a piece of advice actually from oh my God, why am I having a brain fart?
Hitler.
Dr. Phil.
No,
Dr. Phil.
No, Jesus, stop with the names. Used to be the president of the Sixers. Come on.
Croce.
Pat Croce had written in his book, clean out your junk drawer from time to time. You might find something in there that you forgot was in there.
Like literally your junk drawer?
Literally your junk drawer at home,
I do that all the time. Remember I sent you guys a photo of my, because I will organize
You don't have
my
a junk drawer.
No, I do. And I will organize it.
She showed us. It
gets me
looked
so...
like the most well-managed regular drawer that anyone else would have.
Well, it gets me so bothered when I open it up and it's too messy. Yeah, like I'll take the wires and I roll them up and I put like a little Velcro thing around it and I put the pens all in one little container.
Right.
We have, I have to say, our junk drawer never gets overly junky because I do get on it. Like I'm like, I can't stand that.
I let mine go to hell.
Oh, do you? Yeah.
And then I'll do a big cleaning out process. And then, you know what I do? You know what we find more often than not, are just tons of pens and pencils and stuff like that.
How about USB connectors and stuff like that?
That too.
Yes.
So I'll take a plastic bag, like a big Ziploc bag, put all the pens in there. And you know what else make that? Like cough drops. My wife is cough drop obsessive.
Is she addicted?
Right? And they're just she buys different bags of Halls and Ricola and all that stuff, and they end up and they fall out of the bag and they're all over the place, man. They just
Where do you keep the keys that you're not throwing out because you're not sure what they're for, and you're terrified that if you throw them out, you won't be able to open up something?
Yeah, there's a few of those. We have several key rings or key hooks hanging on the wall, so there's some that are, I don't know what they're for. They're hanging
I tell you what, the litmus test of if I haven't needed this or gone looking for it in the past 6 months, gone.
Wow, 6 months.
I wish I could do that, but I can't. I can't let go of those things. I'm fairly certain that my junk drawer is the worst in the world. And
there's dead kittens in
there are no dead kittens in there. No, we definitely bury those. No, I think that there's really nothing useful in my junk drawers at all.
Really?
Yeah, Preston.
What are you putting them?
When Preston said that you had pens and pencils in there, I was like, oh, lucky. Because I put pens and pencils in mine and they disappear. Like there's nothing in there. There's probably, I guarantee you, there is like some weird outlet extension, right? Like a thing that you plug into the outlet that you can plug like 3 other plugs in.
Right.
There's something like that in there.
That's good though. Mm-hmm. It's useful.
It's not really. That thing is not useful. There is a wire of some sort. Couldn't even tell you what the wire is. I clean it out. The junk drawer, there should be things that just go in the junk drawer, and then other things that just go in the trash.
Okay.
And for some, I don't put anything in the junk drawer that's not useful.
Okay.
Like a marker, a pen. Although, you know what, dude? I grabbed a broken crayon out of the junk drawer yesterday, and I use it, and it was actually very, very useful. So,
congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
So.
Okay. All right, anyway.
What? Okay, I'm sorry. Everybody else's the contribution to this conversation was great.
I like how you
kept going
right.
and going and going.
You just, what we love is this.
You guys keep going, too!
No, it's the...
Keep going!
It's the sub-conversation. But you know what? And you always do it as you're going along and you go, but I found a call.
I know what I do. I'm very self-aware.
Oh, and by the way.
You go down different alleys.
Right. And so, like I say, we are not going to stop you because there is often gold and opportunities for me in that.
All right, well, let me dig back into our metaphorical junk drawer here and pull out something. So this is pretty wild. The world's fastest accelerating roller coaster has been suspended because riders were suffering injuries from it.
Like G-force injuries?
Big time. So it's called the Dopampa.
The
Dopampa. It is advertised as being, it's called Super Death Speed. At first, it's been around since 2001.
Where is it?
It's in Japan at the Fuji Q Highland theme park. But listen to this. I love this. It launches riders from 0 to 112 miles per hour in 1.56 seconds.
Dude,
I would have to ride
That's like a NASA. That's like how astronauts train.
Yeah. So at least 6 riders. So at least 6 riders have sustained bone fractures after riding it between December 2020 and August 2021.
So did you see the actual ride itself?
It looks awesome.
Is it like a NASCAR seat that you're sitting in?
No, I didn't see a good close-up look of the coaster and where you sit, but I assume, there's got to be head. Your head has to be well restrained. So four people said they had broken bones in their neck or back.
Holy hell!
Park officials were reportedly dumbfounded by the injuries, as no other riders had been injured in the 2 decades of the ride's operation until December 2020.
Are we becoming more brittle?
Maybe it's we're not drinking enough milk.
Enough milk. Yeah.
So in 2017. The coaster was renovated. Modifications were made to increase the speed from 106 to 112 miles per hour. Theme park officials said Friday that they chose to suspend the ride on August 12th after reports of injuries, but insisted that the causal relationship between injuries and amusement machines has not yet been confirmed.
So what's the fastest acceleration you've been on with a roller coaster?
King to Ka by far is got that that super fast. I mean, they used to be called linear induction, was what I had heard, but that one, because you're going like 500 feet up in the air in a fairly short amount of time. And they launch you, and that is my favorite thing, being launched from that. I love it.
You must love the Hulk ride at Universal.
I didn't ride it. It wasn't open when I was there. It was closed.
Preston, you rocket up that sucker, and you can see people immediately regret their decision, but I love it. Mm-hmm. It is so cool.
Yeah, another one that launches you like that is the Rock and Roller Coaster, I think is what it's called, the Aerosmith ride at Disney.
I've never been on,
Studios, right?
Yeah.
You've done it, Kath?
No, that one was closed when I was there, but I did do Hulk.
It's inside. It's bigger than you think it is, even though it's inside. And you go through a donut at one point. It's pretty damn cool.
Oh, that's cool.
It's a fun ride, but I love it. So this one they're going to shut down because people are breaking bones. They're breaking their neck and back.
Have you ever been on a roller coaster or a ride where you thought, I think I'm going to get injured?
I actually, no. Well, not a roller coaster.
Yeah.
I've been on other rides that have left me in pain. But it's funny. Sometimes, listen, it's natural to get scared or freaked out.
Yeah.
I purposely try to do a little breathing and relax and just say, these are safety harnesses. You're going to be fine no matter what. Just relax and go with it. And it's so much more fun when I do that.
I was at a fireman's fair. I remember clearly. You know that ride, the octopus?
Sure, yeah.
Ride? So I was in my particular,
pod.
Whatever it is, pod.
Yeah.
And the bracing arm came loose on one side.
So the whole front of that thing opens up.
Right.
Yeah, the whole shell on the front of that opens up.
So
wow.
I was holding on to that, and I think I probably was screaming.
Yeah.
But, everyone's screaming, so it's hard to discern between
Boy, that little fella's really having fun.
I'm going to die screaming, or that little whippersnapper's having a great time.
I feel like every ride should have one more level of safety feature. Just one more... Just for me, because usually, the ones where it is just an air compressed sort of.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm talking
pull
about?
down and just on your legs, maybe not even over the shoulder harness.
Yeah, I'm well, what besides this air or whatever is keeping this down, right? So can you just maybe have one extra?
Just another one for your comfort.
Because some of them do.
I'll tell you the one that freaks me out as far as is this really going to hold me or not? Is on nitro. Because
yes,
it only covers your thighs.
You get you almost get 0 G's when you do when you're going over that those the crest.
Yeah,
and you go over many of them.
Those really big ellipses. Yeah. But its restraints are mainly on as opposed to over your shoulder.
It's just your legs. Yeah.
It goes on your thighs.
I don't like that.
And you're like, wow, I can move my arms around and stuff. It's wild, man.
We were talking about height issues yesterday, and when you are short and you get in those over the shoulder roller coasters, it's covering your head. My neck is not outside of those restraints.
Right.
So when I'm in that roller coaster, my head is banging back and forth in that entire thing.
That's why I don't like going on a lot of them. I used to have to take my earrings out because my ears
smash your
and that they don't really tell you. But I guess it is maybe a height thing.
By the way,
go ahead.
I think that photo we have of you, Kathy, is on King to Ka.
Yep.
And you were, she just looks terrified. I love it.
Because I was terrified.
I love it.
There's another one at Hershey that I took with my cousin. What's the one? It's kind of down. You got to walk down the hill, and it just shoots you straight. You go from 0 to
Sky Rush?
No, it's not. It's
red.
It's a horse theme.
Sling
Storm Runner or something like that.
Yeah.
Something like that. There's another one with my cousin, and it is very similar to the one from Six Flags. I just look terrified, and they take it right at the beginning. So you go 0 to whatever miles per hour they send you to, and they take it right there.
To Marissa's thing about being small with the rides that are the rubber band sort of. They pull you down and launch you up.
Oh, my God,
right.
yes.
So
I want to go on one of those.
You'll see people pass out and start to slide out of the seat configuration. And I can see why you'd be terrified.
Hang on. Daniel wants to comment, works at an amusement park. Daniel, good morning.
Morning, guys. How are you?
Good. What's up, man?
So I actually worked at Dorney Park in Allentown. You guys are
sure.
I've seen you guys there a couple of times. They're actually a lot safer than you guys would assume.
Okay.
Maintenance actually inspects the ride every single morning around maybe 6 o'clock in the morning, and we also have to do opening checks before the ride can even open. And then we also have to test ride it every morning. So if something's going to happen to that ride, it would happen to us instead of you guys.
Right. No, you know that. No, what happens, though, and you always, Daniel, and obviously Dorney's great, and there are stories that pop up occasionally of things that happen. So always in the back of your mind, you're like, am I going to be one of those stories? But the reputable parks are, you can be pretty confident.
Well, when we've been at Hershey doing our live broadcasts as we did for years there, we were like, come on, we want to go on the rides. We want to go on the rides. We want to do this on the air. And they're like, no, the safety inspections aren't done yet. And they are rigid with that stuff.
They ride it. They walk it. They do the whole thing. Yeah.
Yep. All right. So anyhow, this place breaks your back and neck if you ride on it. Shut that down for the time being. Let's see what else we got in the junk drawer. All right, have you guys, I've never heard of this. I'm a dog owner, but we've only had, dogs for 3 years or so, or almost 4 years. But have you ever heard of dog zoomies?
Of course.
You have?
Yeah, it's where the dogs go crazy and just start running back and forth and they'll run all over the house.
I had never heard of this before. So yes, it refers to your pet running around at full speed for no apparent reason. Mm-hmm. Experts say this behavior is completely normal.
I do that.
Live Science says...
What is Steve doing?
Dogs of all ages, cats, rabbits, ferrets, and even elephants have been known to get the zoomies. Felines often experience them after bathroom breaks.
6 gerbils, 2 cats, a hamster, and a rabbit.
Though they don't tend to run as fast or for as long as canines. The American Kennel Club's certified applied animal behavioralist Jim Goldman says that zoomies happen because your dog has pent-up energy, and experts call the behavior fraps. F-R-A-P-S.
I took a frap this morning.
Wow. So yeah, pent up. They just want to, get it out of them.
Yeah, my dog actually, Reggie, will get zoomies right before he actually has to take a frap. So you'll see him kind of like run.
Oh, so that's his.
He runs back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, and I'm like, okay, he's gonna take a dump in a second here, and then he slows down, and sure enough, boom.
What if we, before we had to take a dump, ran around? I gotta take a poop.
We'll do it. He's got to poop.
You know what? I believe, and I'm not quite sure. So my dog Chelsea's about 14, 15. We're not, she's a rescue.
Probably past the zoomie age.
What she is, we think, is getting that little bit of dog dementia.
Oh, really?
Okay. Yeah. So she'll be in the she's my sweetheart. I love her to death. But she'll just like look up and start barking at something that it's like, what? Yeah.
So they say to keep your pet safe during their zoomies, you should let them run around in a hazard-free area if you can. Also, you can prepare for dog zoomies to happen around the same time each day, and you could take notes to help you spot patterns when they might happen. But Reggie does this, Casey.
Mm-hmm.
Reggie's huge, and I know I've been at your shore house. There's,
Yeah.
That's got to do some damage if he's getting the zoomies.
Well, he usually only gets it outside.
Good.
So, but he gets zoomies like when he's clearly he has to go outside. He pays extra special close attention to you. And then if you say you want to go out, like then he's like, let's go. And it doesn't matter where he is.
I'm actually pretty good.
If your dog gets zoomies constantly, it could be their way of showing you they need more time out and less time alone or crated, according to experts. All right, let's see what else we got. Let's talk about, I got a bunch of stuff here. How about this one? If you've been trying to get 10,000 steps a day, it might be time to change your goal. Health experts say 10,000 steps a day is an arbitrary measurement.
Is that a Fitbit creation?
It is, I think so. And research suggests 7,000 to 8,000 steps a day is usually enough to have health benefits. Also, personal trainer Harvey Lawton says that daily activity is the unsung hero when it comes to expending energy. He explains moving in varying ways and through different planes of motion allows you to learn about your body, your joint health, and where weaknesses might lie, something that may not necessarily be highlighted nor corrected by achieving daily step goals alone.
So when I have to go to the bathroom, I run down to the treadmill, Preston, and I get all my zoomie energy.
Get your zoomies out.
Yeah. I far exceed, that 10,000 step thing, but a lot of people think that is That's the benchmark.
I've never seen that as quote unquote exercise, as like, I mean, listen, yes, it's good for movement.
Sure.
Absolutely. You need to move. It's healthy for your muscles and so on. But to actually either burn calories or build muscle mass or something like that, just walking around. Listen, walking is good exercise if you're doing a brisk walk.
It's absolutely good.
But if you take, leisurely 10,000 steps, I can't imagine that has... It's not bad for you, but I can't imagine.
No, I know
that
exactly
it's
what you're saying.
You know what I mean?
No, and I think you're exactly right. But to each person's level of ability, I think what happens to in the way that you're getting to that 10,000, Preston. I did 25 here. I did. Then I waited. Then I did. The trick is to do it all in one straight, session. So when people are facing the prostate cancer surgery that I had a while ago. They want you, now I've always been hiking, so it's not an issue, but they want you to walk 2 miles a day and consistently, and that's the key, is to do a concerted, concentrated walk just as a workout, you know?
Yeah, exactly. So according to also Amanda Polk from the University of Massachusetts says she encourages focusing on your minutes moved. So this is a new term.
Minutes moved.
Okay. Minutes moved.
Your MMs.
Rather than stressing about steps, noting that while a daily step count isn't bad, the main goal should really be not to be too sedentary and to stay consistent. So just moving minutes while moving around.
You and I are the first into the office earliest, and we both do our morning bossa nova.
Of course.
Yeah.
I don't want anybody to really see that because we haven't worked everything out yet. But it's movement.
Once you're fully rehearsed, it's going to be.
we'll show
it's going to be amazing.
No, I just looked it up, but 10,000 steps is roughly 5 miles. So you want to walk 5 miles a day. I think, listen, if you're not normally an exerciser or if you're out of shape, walking is a great thing to do.
Everything works.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, absolutely.
So do whatever you can. So there's a really great program called, I think it's called like Couch to 5K.
Yeah.
Right? So for anybody who is not an exerciser, who is, like me, just sits on the couch.
Brady, go back over there. Brady, who does maintenance work in the building, was doing his moves.
Dude, he was a dancer, right? He was in like a Boys to Men video.
He was a dancer?
Yeah, he was in
Boys to Men video? Come in here, Brady. Come in here.
He's still dancing.
Yeah,
he's popping and locking in there.
Is it Vibin'? Is that the name of the...
What we're going to find out.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
All right, let's...
Brady, what video
you mind going on the air, man?
Go over there.
Here, come on over here. We'll pop you on. Mask and all. Hang on a second here. Brady was... hey, man, how you doing?
I'm good. How you doing?
Doing well. So, wait, you were like a professional dancer?
I am a professional dancer.
I didn't know that.
I've been in a number of videos. Boys to Men.
Vibing, Casey?
Vibing.
There we go.
Vibing. Right. I did Vibing. I did Brandy, Want to Be Down.
Wow.
Joe. R&B guy Joe.
Yeah.
This doesn't name a few.
Okay.
But anytime artists come in, they hire us to come.
Do you still do stuff?
I still do stuff.
What's your dance group?
The Untouchables.
Okay.
No, they also love Al Capone.
Dude.
Yeah.
Dude, well, listen, when the restrictions relax around here, we got to get your group in here to do some moves for us. That'd be wonderful, man. Wait, what are we playing?
Oh, this is Vibin'.
Is this Vibin'?
Yeah.
You want to give us a few moves? Can you move with your mask on?
We at the beginning.
Oh, wait. Well, we're watching the video now.
Where are you? Because the video has like
this
a
is another version. This is the remix version. The original version.
Where's this coming up, Casey?
Yeah.
Casey, where's this coming up? Over here. All right, bring it down a little bit, please.
It's a little loud.
Wow. Well, that's cool. I did not know that about you.
Yeah. We did it out at the Plateau. The park.
Yeah.
Oh, a place called the Plateau is where everybody go.
Yeah, there you go. See, I'm over there in the corner.
On the right or
there.
left?
Right. On the right. I'm over there in the corner. Right?
Hey, you're good.
Yeah, that's me and my group in the back.
Nice, man. That's very cool. How long ago was this video shot?
Oh, it was a little bit.
Yeah. So you've been doing this for a while.
Yeah, so I've been doing it for a while.
Good for you, man. That's very cool.
I do stage plays and stuff like that.
Do you do acting as well?
I do acting.
So what have you acted in?
The Last Jimmy. What else? I have a play coming up next month. Well, next year.
Yeah.
It's called the Shoeshine Box.
So you're always asking. We're always talking about equipment and recording stuff like that. You're very interested in that as well. So I didn't realize you were this multimedia person.
Oh yeah.
Very cool.
I'm always open to learning new things.
What moves were you doing there in the other room? Just was that a little?
Oh, this is okay. So when you say pop locking, there's no such thing as pop locking.
Okay.
It's either you popping
or you locking.
Okay. Right.
Locking is this when you point.
Yeah, like rerun.
Like rerun.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
Yep.
And what's locking?
And locking is this.
More
like a robot.
mechanical, robotic movements.
Yeah.
Dude, that is so
You're good.
cool.
Look at him. He's amazing.
You're like Turbo in Breakin'.
But better.
That's who I watched. That's when I first started.
No kidding. Okay.
I went to the movies and I seen him.
You saw Turbo.
Yeah, I seen the whole movie, and I was like,
So all those Stomp the Yard and all those movies you love. Yeah, I watch them all the time. It's the exact same plot.
Yeah.
It's a bunch of kids want to stop a lot or a building from being taken over by the corporate giants, and so they have a stage a dance off and they earn the money to fight the big corporate baddie.
Right.
Yes.
That's how I go.
Wait, so hold on. I have a question. So you're either popping or locking.
Yeah.
Do dancers pop and lock?
Not at the same time, Kathy. What are you, an idiot?
It looks like this.
All right.
It looks like this.
All right.
Okay.
All right, that's
He's popping and locking.
That's locking and popping at the same time?
Yeah.
It's a subtle mixture of those two.
Okay.
Right.
Wow.
But you can know the difference.
Yeah.
When they just doing this.
The
I
pointing.
like the pointing.
Hey,
Okay.
hey.
It gets people uncomfortable.
Right.
That guy won't stop pointing at me, man. I don't like
That's
that.
how the point came about.
Is that what's
Yeah.
it?
Somebody was laughing at him.
And he
And
really?
he pointed at that person.
That's awesome.
That's my idol right there.
All right. Wow. All right. Wow. Well, listen, we got to wrap up in a second here. But Brady, thanks for the entertainment, man. That was really cool. Brady hard worker here at One Bala Plaza, and that's cool. You never know what little hidden talents are with people that you work with.
And Jay was a dancer too, right? Or Jay is a dancer. So Jay, who used to work here, and now he's over at Two Bala, he and Brady danced together.
I didn't know that. The most talented guys working in the building.
Wow, that's awesome. Well, thank you, Brady. Appreciate it, man. Real quick, Dr. Mike is checking, and then we got a break because we got to go live on Fox Good Day, which is where one of the places that Dr. Mike works. Dr. Mike Sirigliano. What's up, Dr. Mike?
Where's Kathy, my little Hawaiian petunia?
Yes.
Not a desert flower.
No, not a desert flower. Hawaiian petunia.
No, she's more lush, like more of a waterfall.
Yes.
Look, so I get excited when I feel a rib in my office, right?
Yes.
You're talking about walking and dancing. That's cool too.
Yeah.
But walking is critical for a lot of people that maybe haven't been exercising. The weight has gone way up during the pandemic. So I encourage people to have Fitbits and things like that. It's not going to a gym, but it's doing something to lower your weight, burn some calories, get exercise, and it really helps you a great deal. And it's low impact. That's the thing. If you're obese, if you have a lot of weight on you, I generally encourage people to do perhaps a stationary bike, something like that, so that the center of gravity and the weight is going through your butt and not your knees.
Right.
Because I deal with that all the time.
The impact of that. Yeah, no. Now we know people, who are long-distance runners who you think are in great shape, but they have messed up their knees and all that stuff. So, yeah, the walking is, as Preston said, whatever is getting you out moving and getting you exercise, do it, without obviously, effing your body up.
Well, one last thing. You sit all day. Some studies show that it's as bad as smoking. So you sit on your butt all day long at a desk. It's extremely dangerous. So get a standing desk. If you don't have time to go for a walk, then you stand up. Get your boss. I'll write you a note.
All right.
Just contact
But get
Mike.
moving. That's definitely the thing.
Yes. All right. I know you got to run. Love you.
Love you. Dr. Mike Sirigliano. Love that man.
I think if I was confined to a desk, I would get like a standing desk. I mean, it stands
That's a
during
good
the entire
idea.
show.
There's a few in our sales cube farm over there. Yep.
All right, listen, we got to take a break. We got to go live on Fox Good Day, so we're going to do that now, but we're wrapping up the junk drawer. Thank you for cleaning it out along with me. And Kathy, apparently your first surprise is here.
Oh, good.
I don't know what it is yet, but maybe we'll find out when we come back. So stay with us. We'll return shortly. It's Kathy's birthday today. Stay put.
Preston and Steve on 93.3 WMMR.
Hi, welcome to the grand opening of the
Now,
WMMR presents Preston and Steve's Bizarre File.
Brought to you this morning by DraftKings Sportsbook, America's top-rated sportsbook app. You can download the DraftKings app and use the code ROCK to get in on the action. So, local story out of Delco. This is wild, man. A man is facing attempted first-degree murder charges after authorities say he used a 10-inch knife to stab his boss inside a steak shop in Delco last week.
Yeah.
This guy, Steve Mullen, who owns Leo's Steak Shop in Fallcroft, said, I felt like I touched a live wire. It was like being electrocuted. In surveillance video, you can see him standing in the doorway while one of his employees comes up from behind and just jabbed a knife into his neck.
Crazy,
like
man.
a 10-inch long knife. Mullen said the employee had worked at the shop for about a year, but he said, I didn't feel it at all, I guess, at the moment.
You go into shock, I guess.
The owner tried to fight off his attacker with the knife still stuck in his neck. He said, I started punching him. He started punching me back. And then my son came over. He grabbed 2 knives from our store, and he said he came up like a warrior trying to protect me.
Wow.
Fallcroft police arrested 43-year-old Sean Walklett. An officer had to deploy a taser, taking him into custody. Now Walklett's facing 8 charges, including attempted first-degree murder. Police officer happened to be directing traffic down the street. The ambulance arrived in a couple of minutes. A doctor attending him apparently was a specialist visiting from Chicago, and according to Mullen, he said, I've taken 4 knives out before, and he said, you'll be my 5th, and you're going to live. He said he told me exactly what I need to do.
Oh, that's great. So the impetus for it? What was it?
Don't
Nothing?
know.
No reason.
Don't know. Police say Walklett does have a prior history of mental illness, and officers have had numerous contacts with him in the past. But Mullen says, I was angry, and I think he should be off the streets and prosecuted to the fullest.
Could you imagine? It's like that footage of the guy at the ATM in New York was attacked from behind. A guy came in with a hatchet.
Yeah.
Yeah, just standing there.
It's nasty. So I'm glad this guy's okay.
Yeah, and Leo's is a Delco staple. That's been there forever and ever on Chester Pike. And the last time I went there, shout out to Leo's because they let me use their bathroom. And they didn't have to do that. So thank you, Sean Mullins or whoever that guy's name is.
Not Sean
Larry.
Sean Mullins sang Lullaby, that song in the 1990s.
Shout out to you because it's a lovely song.
It's a great song.
No, that was it. Now I have to dig this back out.
Bono Vox.
Steve Mullen.
Steve Mullen. That was close.
Yeah, sure.
To Larry Mullen.
Spot on. Antwerp Zoo has banned a woman from visiting a male chimpanzee because their close relationship is causing him to be ostracized from the other apes. 80 Timmermans has been visiting Cheetah, a 38-year-old male chimpanzee, on a weekly basis for 4 years and is now having what she described as a relationship with the animal.
I just can't explain it.
But zoo workers have told 80 that she can no longer be in contact with the animal as the other chimps.
I have opposable thumbs.
As the other chimps have excluded him from their group, causing him to be alone for up to 15 hours a day.
Chuck me a turd.
80 strongly opposed the ban, saying, I love that animal.
Yeah.
And he loves me.
So the other animals are getting jealous?
She said, I haven't got anything else. Why do they want to take that away? She hasn't got anything else, Steve. Nothing else.
Yeah.
She said
some people are sick.
She said the ban was unfair as it applies only to her, while other visitors are allowed to visit the chimp freely.
Talk through the intercom. I want to help you.
80.
Get a hobby.
80's relationship with Cheetah.
You're pathetic.
With Cheetah sees the pair waving and blowing kisses to each other. And
you're an imbecile.
It's through the glass of the chimp enclosure every week. 80 steadfastly believes that the chimp loves her.
Now she's holding her breasts up to the glass, Preston, like Midnight Express.
That's what I was thinking. However, while their exchange through the glass appears to be little more than a playful interaction, zoo officials say the relationship between 80 and Cheetah means the primate spends 15 hours a day outside of visiting hours completely alone because the other chimps won't allow him into the group.
I mean, is it worth just seeing where this goes and getting them a room?
Maybe.
Yeah.
The curator said he sits on his...
Happens to all the chimps.
She said he sits...
I've never had this happen before.
He then sits on his own outside of visiting hours. An animal that is too focused on people is less respected by its peers, and we want Cheetah to be a chimpanzee as much as possible.
Leave our chimp alone.
Yeah. When emergency services in France got a call about a body in a canal, they prepared for the worst. But so police and firefighters raced to the scene. They found out it was a false alarm, and an amusing one at that. Officers were called by a couple on a bike that were cycling next to the canal. They thought they saw a corpse taped up in a black bag floating next to a heap of branches and reeds. So they called the police, and they hauled the body back to the banks with the help of firefighters. To their amazement and relief, it turned out to be an inflatable sex doll.
Hey, we did
was in a
that.
bag. Yes,
Remember we did the concert floater.
Yep. That's right.
Yeah,
out in the river.
If you got the sex doll out of the river, you won tickets.
The police station came and got her. They wrote, a couple on a mountain bike discovered a floating mass in the canal that could resemble a human corpse. Through 2 tapered garbage bags, we distinguished 2 legs and a trunk. With the help of firefighters, the floating object was brought back to the banks. Verdict, a silicone doll, truer than nature, that didn't lack air. Obviously, her owner can pick her up here if they want. An Alabama man was shot by his wife's boyfriend, who was secretly living in the couple's home.
What? So the ex was living in their home unbeknownst to them.
No. The boyfriend.
Right.
So they're a married couple. The wife was hiding a boyfriend in the house.
Come on now.
So the sheriff's office said the wife told her husband that an intruder was in their home Sunday night, and he armed himself with a gun. The men shot each other and both went to the hospital. The sheriff's office said Michael Amaker.
I thought you told me you were single.
Michael Amaker, the wife's boyfriend for over a year, had been living at the house shortly before the shooting.
How would you not know?
Secretly.
How would you not know?
She had been allowing him to stay within the home for a couple of days, providing him food. The sheriff's office said there were bottles of urine in the room.
Oh, my God.
Which indicated that he had been there for a little while.
So what, did she put an extra bowl down on the floor with the dog's bowl?
Must have been. The sheriff's office
It's almost impossible to pull that off.
Hadn't uncovered a motive for the wife telling her husband that Amaker was an intruder. Investigators said that she was too intoxicated to be interviewed after the shooting.
I bet she got mad at them, or they probably had a lover's spat, and she figured she'd, seek some revenge.
Amaker was in jail on charges of attempted murder.
Do you think you could hide in your house and be completely, for any period of time and be undiscovered?
No.
It would depend on...
If you had bottles for your urine?
Well, if everybody's, I don't know if her husband was working all the time or what.
Yeah.
It might have been easy to, have him hide in the basement in the unfinished part or whatever, wherever they have a little secluded room. I have no idea, man. But it would be difficult to pull off, no question. All right, and there you go. That is what I have in the bizarre file for you. When is Kathy getting her first surprise?
I mean, it's ready to go if you want to do it now.
Let's do it.
All right.
I don't know what's going on here. I just have a note that says Kathy's first surprise is here. So
I saw Gary out there in a thong.
With bagels?
Marissa ran down the hall, so let's see what she returns with
John
today.
DeBella in a thong.
Oh, it is.
I'll take that.
It is Kathy's birthday today, so we are celebrating this morning. We're going to have some goodies. Oh, here we go, Kathy. Yay! Oh, my God. Look at this. We have this gigantic balloon arrangement for
that's
Kathy.
Amazing.
And what is that balloon? I can't say. Your head's in the way. What does it say, Kathy?
No, you are a bitch.
No, you are a bitch. On these gigantic balloons. So those are custom printed.
Are they?
Phrases. Yeah, look, that's like stickers that were put on that balloon.
Yeah, you put a decal on them.
Okay.
When did
guess
that
sent these
become
to you.
available?
Is it my cousin?
No.
Oh.
Kathy's old as F.
I don't know. My cousin owns a balloon company, so I immediately thought it was her. But these don't look like hers.
I think this is from your friend Elisa.
Yes, that totally makes sense. Oh my God! And Vicky's gonna kill her that she didn't use her. That's weird.
She might have used her.
No, this is not. I could tell it's not Vicky's balloons. Oh, okay. Yes.
That's a beautiful arrangement.
Yeah, that's why it's color coordinated. It looks because that's her thing.
Oh yes, it makes complete sense that Elisa would send me something that is calling me a bitch on my birthday. Thank you very much.
But of course.
I love her. She's the best.
Nice. All right, with that, we are going to take a quick break. We'll come back in a moment, and we're going to have our first guest on for the day. David was sickened, and drummer from the Hooters is checking, and we're going to talk about Charlie Watts.
Yes.
A little bit more into that. Rolling Stones drummer passed away. Obviously, you heard about that yesterday at the age of 80. So we'll come back with Dave. We're also going to have on the show David Murphy.
Yes.
Who's retiring. He announced his retirement from 6 ABC.
A lot of people are upset.
Yeah, so we'll be back with those things. Stay with us.
WMMR.
The Preston and Steve Small Business.
Thanks, Kath. Yesterday, some bad news came down in the world of rock and roll. Charlie Watts, Rolling Stones, longtime drummer, passed away, 80 years old, had been checked into the hospital, and, he was going to be sitting out a portion of the tour coming up, and didn't hear anything more than that or any level of seriousness, and then blindsided by the news that he passed away yesterday.
This, sadly, has been replicated a number of times where legendary rock musicians, as of the past couple of years, out of the blue, unbeknownst to us, pass away. We had David Bowie, we had Tom Petty,
Glenn Frey, Neil Peart.
Right, Neil Peart. All of these people it's wild. Anybody associated with the Rolling Stones, you are talking legend of legends, that level. Yeah. So, I heard somebody say, it wasn't Mick, it's Charlie Watts. It's a foundational, or at least one of the long-running members of the band, and that means something.
Dude, how weird will it be if Keith Richards outlives them all?
Right.
He's the man who has been on the death watch for decades.
He did it right. He died 30 years ago.
Right?
And has just hung around.
Listen, yesterday, I can't remember the last time I've heard Pierre more deflated than yesterday.
And Jackie. He and Jackie did a great segment with commentary and everything, and they were both... Listen, I get it. You know how you felt when Neil...
Oh, my God.
I mean, these guys are massive Stones fans. Yeah. I've always appreciated the Stones. You have to.
Yeah.
And this is a loss. This hurts.
What's wild about Charlie is he number one, he looked like the oldest member, I always thought. He looked like he aged faster than everybody else. He wasn't. Actually, Bill Wyman is 84. Mick is 78. Keith Richards is 77. And Ronnie Wood is 74. But, man, he has been married. He and his girlfriend got together, I think, in like 1964. And have been together. They've been married for over 55 years. After all... The Rolling Stones had the absolute buffet of women.
Yeah.
If they wanted to.
But every one of them stayed faithfully married to one woman.
Charlie did. Through all that temptation,
That's
Charlie
amazing.
did. So many great accolades coming through, as you would imagine, from the biggest of the bigs. Do we have the clip from Paul McCartney?
Yep.
I want to play that because I saw this. He posted this yesterday.
So sad to hear about Charlie Watts, the Stones drummer, dying. He was a lovely guy, and I knew he was ill, but I didn't know it was this. Condolences to the Stones. This would be a huge blow to them because Charlie was a rock, fantastic drummer, steady as a rock. Love you, Charlie. I always loved you. Beautiful man.
Ringo Starr said, God bless Charlie Watts. We're going to miss you. Peace and love to the family. It's Pete Townsend, Brian Wilson, all these people. Yeah. Elton John, I thought this was nice. He said, a very sad day. Charlie Watts was the ultimate drummer. And he also said, the most stylish of men and such brilliant company. My deepest condolences to Shirley, Serafina, and Scarlett, and, of course, the Rolling Stones.
Paul McCartney, there was a documentary about England, the British, invasion and all of that in the earlier part of the 60s, even out of the late 50s into the 60s. And in the earliest, first, when you're a kid, I'm a Beatles fan. I'm not into the Rolling Stones. The Beatles are better than the Rolling Stones. But I always appreciated the Rolling Stones and loved them. And there was this perceived contention that was not the case at all.
Right.
They were actually very good friends and actually traded, like the Beatles would give them songs.
Well, I Want to Be Your Man John and Paul essentially wrote that and said, here you go, guys, you can have this.
They hung out all the time.
And the Stones had a hit with it. So, yeah, they helped. There was definitely some comradeship or camaraderie, I guess I should say, amongst those guys. They were in a very small club of superstars and super talents, and so they didn't. That whole thing was a bit of a myth, but I'm sure they had fun with it too. So we wanted to get someone on who could speak from some authority about Charlie Watts and what he meant to music, and so we reached out to our friend David Wasickinen of the Hooters, who was on the line this morning. Hi, David. Good morning.
Good morning, guys. How you doing?
We're good, man. It's sorry to to talk to you on such a sad occasion, but we figured it'd be you. Definitely are a huge music history fan and an appreciator of all things, especially in the rhythm section.
Yeah.
Did you ever happen to cross paths with the Stones or Charlie in when you guys were touring heavily?
Well, unfortunately, I never met Charlie. But Mick Jagger, when we opened for The Who in 1982, I was all excited about meeting the Who and the Clash and Carlos Santana and who stops backstage but Mick Jagger. This was 1982. I was we were a young band. And he came back and we had a beer in the morning. So it was Mick Jagger shows up with his daughter Jade. Wow. So it was the first time I ever set eyes on like a true icon, legend, rock star, and he couldn't have been nicer. And over the years, we watched. I remember watching the rehearsal for Live Aid, so I was close to Mick, but never Charlie. I have friends. My good friend Mickey Carey told me about a time when Bryan Adams was opening for him, and Charlie stopped into his dressing room, and he said I didn't know what to say to him. Talk to him.
Yeah.
It was freaking Charlie, So,
yeah.
Unbelievable. It was a really, I felt like I lost a family member yesterday. I was a gut punch, losing him because, he was why I wanted to play the drums. I think he gave people like me a hope. When I saw Charlie, it was like, hey, I think I could do that. Right. Like if I saw Virgil Donati, I think I would have went, wait a minute.
No.
But Charlie was like, he just played to the soul and the heart. And I just like, I remember seeing Painted Black and playing Painted Black on the Ed Sullivan Show and just being mesmerized. And I always paid attention to his grip, Preston, because he was playing a traditional grip, and then with Painted Black, he's playing a match grip. It's like the guy can go back and forth. He was just a brilliant player, and he colored the music, and he was a songs drummer, which I always wanted to be. But I adored him, so it was a tough day.
I want to talk about that, about what a talent being a song drummer is. And for those who don't know, there's technical drumming. There's people that can do these amazing, unbelievable things, musicianship-wise. But there are people that can paint slight colors with very little things that they do that add to the song, So if you can speak on that a little bit, because it's easy to be dismissive of Ringo Starr and Charlie Watts and these guys who let the music breathe.
Which always amazed me.
Yeah.
It always amazed me, Preston. I was always like, because, I think, I love playing the drums, and it's what initially, I wanted to play the guitar, but the guitar teacher said, hey, your hands are too small, and I just thought I was going to be a big pain in the ass. So a neighborhood kid had a guitar and a drum, and I could play the drums. I could play the beat immediately. So, that's what I played, but I always gravitated towards, like, my ears. It was I was listening to the melody. I was listening to a guitar player. So I that's something like for songs. It's just something from the get-go. Whether it was the Rolling Stones, the Beatles, or Otis Redding, or Jackson, or James Brown, I was listening to the song. Like, how is that drummer? He's grooving, but hey, wait a minute, he's not doing there's not a lot of fills. As a matter of fact, he's leaving space, which was always amazing. I think that's why people marvel over somebody like Steve Gadd, because Steve Gadd is such a minimalist, but he can play anything he wants, and you can tell.
Yeah, Steve Smith is another one of those. I mean, his ability is amazing, but with Journey, I don't need to do all of that. You know what I mean?
No, you're right. Yeah. You're right.
Well,
you're right. I mean, that's how he played, you know.
You mentioned Steve Gadd, and so I've always been a fan because of knowing of his work with Steely Dan and Paul Simon and all those sort of those subtle things that make a song, what it is, and sometimes it takes the greatest talent to allow everyone their moments and to serve your purpose. And they're pointing out, I guess, the use of the cowbell and honky tonk. Women,
it's
and
genius.
And that is a definitive aspect of that song.
Yeah, and it's the sound of it. I mean, that's the one thing that, like, drummers that play on songs is that they're into the tone of their drums. It's like, I mean, Preston, I'm sure you're like, I love the sound. You hit a snare drum and you're hearing, okay, this is different than that snare drum.
Sure.
This is song drummers are really listening to tone and color in the song, you know. So, I mean, it's what Charlie did so well. And, you know, and people that don't follow Charlie don't realize that, you know, his whole experience outside of playing with the Stones is doing bebop jazz and swing, you know. His whole thing was listening to jazz. He loved Charlie Parker, and that was his thing, you know. But with the Rolling Stones, he played the song, and I don't think he could really play any other way because that's the way he was wired. And you know, I mean, it was absolutely, you know, fabulous, his style. And, you know, yesterday was just rough. You know, I was playing down. I had a gig last night with Jerry. I'm playing some gigs with Jerry Lee Lewis's sister. Wow. And I was playing last night with Linda, and Kenny Aronson and I are driving down to the gig, and Kenny played with Charlie.
Wow.
So I was asking him, you know, I mean, he played with him for an hour and a half. I mean, he was playing with God is the way I looked at it. It was unbelievable.
Yeah.
So we were having a lot of chat, and he was really, you know, crushed by it as well. You know, it was really rough.
Well, you know, and again, you always put it in perspective. You got a good run of years, but
oh my God,
even though you know it will eventually happen. You know, it's still a shock. Now I'm looking at a picture of you that's up here in the studio, and you're playing a Gretsch drum kit, which is And I was asking Preston before the show. I said that's the kit that's associated with Charlie, correct?
Yes. Yeah, well, you know, Charlie was a longtime Gretsch guy, and, you know, before I even knew anything about endorsements or anything like that. I you know, all I wanted to do was play a Gretsch kit. And I remember I went and bought a yellow Gretsch kit in New York at Alex's music store, and it was a Charlie. It was all because of Charlie. You know, and hey, listen, don't take bets on the Keith thing because I think Keith's going to outlive.
I think so too. He's got that gene, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Hey, Dave, there's a thing about Charlie that I think only drummers pick up on, and it's a signature look at his movements behind the kit, and you know what I'm talking about, that little raised hi-hat on the 2 and 4 with his right hand. Nobody played that way.
And that's not easy to do. You know,
right.
That's something that if you think about it, especially if you're doing a session, so hey, try that Charlie thing where he lifts his hand up, you know, on the backbeat, and you go to do it. If you play a certain way, you got to do that. That's not super simple to do. That's a Charlie signature. Exactly.
Absolutely, exactly. Is his signature.
You know,
you could show me just a silhouette of him and not his feature, and I could say that's Charlie Watts. I could easily pick him out.
Exactly. You know, his sound, it was just, you know, he had a signature sound. I read my friend Tom posted something today, a drummer, and he said, you know, a song came on, I could tell it was Charlie. It's going to be really weird seeing the Stones without Charlie. As much as I love Steve Jordan, he's a friend of mine, you know, I think it's great. It's going to be really, really weird seeing him without Charlie and hearing him without Charlie.
You know what happens? What's interesting, though, and it does happen, and it actually happened. I was referring to Steely Dan earlier, and when Steely Dan years ago was trying to go out on tour, it was hard finding musicians that could rise to the level of performance that they need. But now there are so many people that have been inspired by their music that they have people who are basically weaned on it. And I think there are so many, you know, fans of Charlie Watts that, you know, and even with, I think to find someone who will play in that style and honor him, you know, with those performances, I think that's going to probably be easier now. But I wanted to ask you, David, as far as the jazz influence and knowing how much Charlie was a fan of that, and that seemed to be really what he gravitated toward, maybe even a little bit more over rock. Do you think jazz as a basis for a drummer will serve you with everything else?
Oh, no doubt, because if you know, one thing that, you know, there's that dotted eighth note when somebody's swinging, and you know, if you can't swing, your rock and roll isn't going to be a thing. You know, it's like one of those. You got to be able to do that, and you know, to play it effectively. And I think that's one thing that if you're learning to play jazz or you're playing it all along with a jazz record, a lot of that is you're playing da 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 da, and that's what Charlie did so beautifully. And you could hear that when he played rock and roll. Yeah. You know, that's what made him. You know, it was like Charlie played. It felt like you were listening. He was like riding a wave. You know, it was just something, a thing of beauty. And listen to a great track. Even if the track wasn't completely steady, it always felt beautiful. You know what I mean? When I say steady, like the tempo will change from the beginning of it. I mean, it's amazing. You hear Honky Tonk Woman. From the beginning of the track to the end of the track, the tempo changes. I think it goes up like almost like 7 beats, but it doesn't matter, you know, because it's just he's painting a painting. It's a piece of art when he's playing. Yeah, unbelievable.
I think it was Freddie Gruber, the guru, David, had said that. Listen, you got to make that flow, man. You don't have to be rigid like a clock, which is something to achieve. It's definitely something to an incredible skill to have. But if you can flow with the way the music is going, he did it. Ringo did it. Who was also who longed to be a jazz guy was Ginger Baker as well. So these guys all want to swing, man. There's something about that in a groove for a drummer.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's what makes it happen. I'm a stone believer in it. I think that's what made Charlie plays so beautifully. Jim Keltner has that same thing.
Totally.
He adores that kind of music. It's like that jazz feel, but they're not jazzers. They listen to the swing, and I think when you heard somebody like Jeff Beccaro, why he played Rosanna so beautifully, it's because he could play. He could play a swing jazz. He can groove like that. That's a special thing. And. I always tell them, if I'm teaching somebody, I'm always telling them, listen, learn how to play that. If you can play that, then you'll be a happy man because somebody will ask you to play a shuffle, and if you can't, they're all going to be looking at you like they're going to kill you.
Hey, real quick, Dave, I wanted to touch on you and the Hooters. You guys, you played the Phillies. Was that last week?
Oh, my God, that was such a gas. We did Take Me Out to the Ball game. And, I was Rob and Eric invited me to join them. And I brought one of these. I got this marching drum, and it was a blast. And they happened to beat the Dodgers, so that was a good thing.
There you go.
We needed that.
Yeah, keep playing for them, please.
I mean, apparently, from what I understand, when we do play, they do well. So hopefully they can get that ship aligned, and we can get back there and do some more stuff. But that was a lot of fun.
And
listen, I have to bring something up to you guys. Congratulations, you guys are both. You've been inducted into the National Radio Hall of Fame, and I want to congratulate you both.
Thank you. Yeah, the show was inducted. Yeah, thank you.
We appreciate that. A big honor, which we weren't expecting.
Well, that's amazing.
Thanks,
that's amazing.
man.
You guys are fantastic, and I love how you guys are. You're always singling out drummers, and I love that you do that. I gotta tell you, on a selfish level, I'm going like that. It's really great.
Well, listen, I also want to point out Hooters have a couple of gigs coming up, I think, at the Keswick, right?
We played the Keswick Theater, I think, and I feel bad I didn't write it down. It's going to be October 22nd and 23rd.
Okay.
We're going to play the Keswick. We're going to Mexico the following week. If everything stays well, we're going to do a show there. And
then your other project, In the Pocket, what's going on with that?
I just released an album called The Philly Special. It's the stuff we recorded from 2014 to the present. We put it out on vinyl. You can get it at iTunes and Amazon, songsinthepocket.org. We have a gig on 9/25 at the Ardmore Music Hall, and they're going to do everything to keep it safe, do what we have to do, but I'm excited about all of that.
Excellent.
It's good stuff.
Awesome, man.
So,
well, listen, David, we just wanted to touch base and from one drummer to another, just to find out what your thoughts were on the influence of the great Charlie Watts.
Oh my God, it was a tough day, but you said it best. He lived a long life. He was with his childhood sweetheart all the way to the end, 80 years old. So, an amazing life, and he influenced so much of us. And I know, you being a great drummer, Preston, and doing it, I think that it's, it was a tough day for all of us. Us drummers are like a little posse together. You don't want to mess with us.
Yeah, no kidding.
Don't mess with the drummers.
All right, David, thanks for checking in, man. Give the guys our best. We'll talk to you soon.
Again, guys, and happy birthday, Kathy.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you. David was sickening, guys. Take care, my man. Wow. He knows. He knows what an influence he was. Hang on real quick. We have a guy who hung out with Charlie for a little while, a personal driver for him. This is Ed. Hey, Ed, good morning.
Morning, sir.
Hey, how you doing, man?
I cannot complain, sir.
Well, listen, so when were you driving and spending time with Charlie Watts?
He was in, I believe, in 2013.
Uh-huh.
I was his personal driver for the whole week from a company called TOC.
Okay. I got to imagine, just seems, I got to believe he was just a gentleman.
Oh, yes, he is. All he wanted was he asked us, all he wanted was the air turned off and the radio on jazz.
Is that wild?
Yeah. Okay. All right. Any stories to share? Did you guys have any conversations, or did he just kind of keep to himself?
He asked questions about Philly. That's about it.
Yeah.
He just wanted to know things about the area. That's all.
All right.
Like
But like you
historical
said,
questions or about restaurants? What kind of questions was he asking?
Pretty much, yes. A couple restaurants, because I drove to a couple of them, especially, I think, Cuba something.
Cuba Libre.
Where's Pat's Chili Dog?
They loved eating there.
Nice. All right. Well, that's a cool experience, Ed. Thanks for sharing, man. We appreciate it.
Not a problem. You have a good day, sir.
All right, you too. We'll see you later. So, Charlie, we have a couple of clips of him.
Yeah, very interesting too. One of the clips, the first one to play, is how he got with the Stones.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's roll that.
I played with the Rolling Stones, well, Mick and Keith and Brian, because they'd sit in. Yeah, and they asked me to join. It was another band. I was in two others when I joined them, but with no work. On paper, you're in them.
He was asked about could the Stones carry on without some of the members in the band?
Yeah.
Let's see how he responded to that.
Well, I think if Mick or Keith said that, I think we would. If any of the others have said no, I think they could get another drummer. I think if Mick and Keith would or could carry on. But I think if Mick said I'm retiring, I don't know how we'd do a show without him and without Keith.
I was thinking about that too, and it's unfortunate, but it's a good thing that he knows that Charlie Watts essential to their music over the years. But the stars of the show are Mick and Keith, without question. And
I mean, Clay Aiken probably could step in for Mick. I'm thinking, but you never know.
But, and thus is sometimes the disposable nature of being a drummer, unfortunately, unless, you're like a Neil Peart, who was a huge part of the composition of the music, not only lyrically, but he had his own voice in his instrument as well. I wanted to, before we play some more clips, speaking of Neil, he wrote a book called Traveling Music, and I read it last year. And there's a moment in the book. There's an excerpt that I pulled aside, and it was when Rush was called in to play the benefit for SARS, the disease, in Toronto. And so the Stones were headlining that, and then they got other big Canadian groups to come and play because it was a hometown show in Toronto. So Rush was one of the, I think they were going on right before the Stones. And so Neil wrote this and described it. He said, and so Neil likes to be in solitude, specifically before show. He's
in his zone.
He's a very shy guy.
Yeah.
He doesn't like to be distracted. And so anyway, this is how he writes. He goes, a short, older man stepped up to me, sticking out his hand and saying something I couldn't hear, and thinking, well, now who is this? I took out one of my ear monitors and said, sorry, I couldn't hear you. He spoke again, smiling. He said, hello, I'm Charlie Watts. He said, oh, I said, taken aback, hello. And I shook his hand. He asked if we were going on soon, and I said, yes, any minute. And he said, with a twinkle, I'm going to watch you. And Neil goes on to say, and this is Neil, one of the most talented rock drummers ever, said, I suppose if I could have felt more pressured, that might have done it, but I was already at maximum intensity. There was no time to think of Charlie Watts and the Rolling Stones, watching them on the Tammy Show or Ed Sullivan when I was 12 and a half, hearing Satisfaction snarling down the Midway at Lakeside Park, Gimme Shelter at the cinema in London, listening to Charlie's beautiful solo album, Warm and Tender, so many times late at night in Quebec, or any other million times Charlie Watts and his band had been a part of my life. So it was like overwhelming in this moment for Neil, right when they're about to go on stage, and Charlie says he's going to be watching him. He said, Getty emailed me later and mentioned that scene. He goes, by the way, this is what the email said, by the way, I will never forget that moment before we went on stage when Charlie Watts came over to shake your hand at the worst possible moment, and watching your face go through all the motions of A, who is this old guy? B, what does he want? C, oh, for God's sake, it's Charlie Watts. So that's what it meant.
Good luck out there.
Yeah. That's what it meant to one of the world's great drummers.
Yes.
To have this small little guy come over and give him a moment, and it's like, oh my God, this is royalty I'm talking to.
Well, I love that. I love that he was known as a gentleman. I love, and that is what people like that in your life. That obviously we attach to so much that's pop culture, to music, to movies or whatever. People that entertain us or provided us something, of that kind of merit. And he stated it beautifully. People like that you're a fan of, they weave their way in and out of your lives with what they do, and they become inextricable. Yeah. And so when it's hard not to be overwhelmed when you meet someone, especially of that status.
So this clip is Charlie talking about the cowbell?
It's actually just the clip of the song.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, just
I gotcha.
isolated. Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty iconic.
Yeah. And then they did talk to the cowbell last night.
That rhythm, I read not that long ago, had a very specific influence, and I don't remember the story. He got it from hearing something. And I remember reading that recently, and damn it, I can't.
It was Baby Shark.
Was it Baby?
Wow.
I had no idea. I didn't even know that.
I heard a great song about a shark
back then.
Who has a lot of babies.
I jotted down a couple of my favorite moments from, as far as drumming goes, from Charlie Watts. He would sometimes at the very end of songs, like Dave was saying, he wasn't a flashy player. He made room for the other musicians to shine, and he was a musical player. He wanted to add to the melody of the music. He wanted to give a beat, but he wanted to add a little flavor to the melody and not get in the way of it. But at the end of a couple of songs, he would add in these little syncopated rhythms that you weren't expected. One happens in Can't Always Get What You Want. God, do I love that song.
Great.
And then towards the end of Shattered as well is a really cool little Charlie Watts moment. But Casey, they're towards the end of the song. We don't have fast forward capabilities in this system.
It's insane.
Which is ridiculous.
Come on.
But I wish I could get to the end of the song for you. Another one of my favorite drum songs from him is just a fun tune from the Stones, because Stones had deep songs, they had really emotional songs, and then they had fun songs like Hang Fire.
Right.
Yeah, that's a fun song.
Great song.
And there's a great little, in fact, Casey, you can pull that one up.
I got you.
Because the beginning of that is he does this little lick. Oh, start it over again if you don't mind.
Yeah.
This is this fun little groove. And I'll tell you a song from the Stones, and like I said, they have some emotional ones like Can't Always Get What You Want, and one that really touches me at the right moment when I hear it is Waiting on a Friend.
Waiting on a Friend is such a beautiful song. I love the whole message. I love everything about it. And it's a simple song that rocks my world.
Yep. This is him playing, rim knocks and kind of changing the sound up a little bit. Almost like a little bossa nova feel to it.
I hear this song and I think, it's okay.
Yeah.
It's hanging. It's okay.
Totally.
Whatever's bothering you, I was going to say up your ass, but whatever's pissing you off, let it go. It's okay.
Do you remember the video?
Yeah, they're just, and it's them
sitting on a stoop.
That's
and
it.
Just kind of hanging out.
It's great.
What a great song, man. You know what?
Yeah.
I got to add this playlist. I need to add this too. I got to write that down. On a Friend. Sorry, I'm jotting that down.
If you're thinking
on later on.
Sympathy for the Devil.
Oh, yeah.
On a percussion level.
Yeah, so I'm not sure who all's playing percussion on that, because it's not, I don't think that's Charlie playing the congas and bongos. But Casey hit that one because this is all about the rhythm, man. That's definitely him on the hi-hat. Doing a little backbeat. Little maracas come in. So this song, this has got forward momentum through the whole thing. You gotta love it.
That's the Iron Sheik.
Love it.
I'm a man of wealth and taste.
Marissa, you pulled up the end of Can't Always Get What You Want?
Yeah.
You are the best. So I'll see if it adds the part I'm looking for. Oh, that's it. so he
There it
switched.
is.
You need a little bit before that. But,
Oh, hit undo, Casey.
hit undo. There we go. Back it up just a little bit. So he does this little syncopated thing where he throws you off the rhythm. Play on this song. I gotta find that out.
Yeah,
Hi,
please.
Chris. How you doing, man?
Hey, how you guys doing?
Good. What's up, man?
I just wanted to clear some things up about Charlie. I mean, I'm a big Charlie fan.
Yeah.
I'm a big Stones fan. He did not play cowbell on Honky Tonk Woman, or did he play drums on You Can't Always Get What You Want? That was their producer, Jimmy Miller.
Oh, is that right? Okay. That's...
And the other thing that gets me, too, is I've been hearing this song a lot lately because of Charlie passing, is It's Only Rock and Roll. That's Kenny Jones on drums. So I just wanted to get that cleared up.
No, we appreciate it. Yeah. Well, so let me
Kenny
ask
Jones
you,
was one of the greats too.
Chris, as a fan of Charlie's, what song or what particular passage of a song stands out to you as being paramount?
Well, I think Monkey Man, he just swings in that song.
Nice. Yeah.
Or Live With Me. Those two songs, that's atypical Charlie right there.
Got it. All right, man. Appreciate it, bud.
All right.
Thanks for.
Hey, thank you. Thank you for your time.
All right, you bet, bud. We'll see you later.
Yeah, I think he's right. I'm looking at it and it says it was just because he couldn't get into that groove.
What for? You can't always get what you want.
Yeah.
And he couldn't. It wasn't his thing. Well,
He was technically unable to figure out the beat for the unusual groove.
Interesting.
Man, I've been shattered.
Shattered. You can't get into the groove.
I had no idea. Now this is a cool tune.
Very
man.
cool. So Ringo played this, right?
Yeah, Ringo was in. This is a great groove too. This is just straight ahead. That's exactly what the song calls for. Well, it is sad news, the passing of a legend, Charlie Watts, here. And, of course, this radio station has been along for the ride the whole time, man.
Yeah.
And especially sorry to the biggest Stones fans, Pierre Robert and Jackie Bam Bam, because it was a blow to them. And Kevin Gunn.
Yes.
Who popped on
It was great
yesterday as
radio
well, so.
yesterday with what Pierre whipped together and Pancake and Jackie and
Randy Kotz, by the way, too.
Yes.
Oh yeah. When he worked here, his theme was he would never play only one Rolling Stone song. He would always play two, no matter what. He had bargained that deal.
You remember our earliest thing is we'll always get our Rolling Stones trivia wrong.
Yes.
Yep. Always.
And we have stood by that for 20
and
how
that's
many years?
honestly because
23
we
years.
care.
Never blink. All right. Anyhow, we need to take a break. We got some other things coming up. You know what? We have this movie screening, Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings.
Yes.
It's a week from today, UA King of Prussia at 7 p.m. You want to go? Well, be one of the next 5 callers, and we will give you those passes. 215-263-WMMR. It's going to be in theaters September 3rd. Which is a Friday, so let's get you in a few days ahead of that. We're going to come back in a moment. David Murphy from 6ABC has announced he's retiring.
Yeah, I don't like that.
Shortly, too, but we're going to get Murph on in just a moment and talk to him. We'll be back. Stay put.
Preston and Steve on 93.3 WMMR. August 27th, 1991.
up. So the balloons that came in for my birthday, I think there was a little confusion because Nick helped coordinate it. So Nick is not here. But the balloons, because I thought it was bizarre that my best friend would send me balloons, not from my cousin's balloon company, but she did indeed send it from them. And I thought it didn't look like her balloons because she just got a helium tank. She normally does those big balloon displays that don't include helium. Well, these have helium in them. She just got a helium tank. But she's Balloons by Victoria on Instagram, and she is awesome. Her business is awesome, and she is great.
So who exactly now is pissed off at you?
No, nobody is. But they were, as we're talking about it, all these text messages from my cousin Victoria and from Elisa, who sent them, are coming in. She's like, "No, they're Vicky's balloons. They are hers."
Wow, your birthday's a lot of work, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's a lot of work to receive gifts.
Well, we have another gift coming here in a little bit, and we'll do that in a moment. But you know what? Our next guest, such a gentleman. I want to thank him for not trying to steal our thunder. Yesterday, we got nominated into the National Radio Hall of Fame.
Yeah,
he waited.
He waited to announce his retirement and instead steal the thunder from Kathy's birthday so that he could therefore let everyone know. But we were bummed to hear this because he's just the greatest guy.
He is.
But retiring from Action News 6 ABC, our good friend, meteorologist David Murphy. Yo, Murph.
Hi, guys. How are you?
We're doing good, and we are bummed out to hear about this, man.
Well, I'm sorry to bum you out, but yeah, this has been a long time in the making. The managers over here actually got word last January that I was thinking about this, and I've been kind of thinking about it for the last couple of years. Before I forget, though, can I just say, as soon as Casey reached out this morning and said, "Hey, can you call in?" I have just such warm feelings for all of you over there. You have been so supportive of me and so kind to me over all these years, and it's really meant a lot. I mean, you guys are just kings in this community, and to be drawn in every now and then, and to just be a little bit of a part of what you guys do, it's really been an honor. It really has.
Likewise, it's not even just a reflexive response. I mean, we've completely enjoyed the relationship, and as you know, you're in that rarefied area that is reserved only for cast members of Holy Moses.
Yes, a movie that Steve and I love that nobody else here knows.
That just came up recently, actually. I was telling people about how, Preston and Steve and Casey, those guys just love that movie. So, I'll give you a quick explanation as to, my thinking with all of this with retiring now, because I just turned 62 last week, and, it's a little early, some people work longer. But for me, it's 37 years in this business, but then I had that 12-year acting career before. So, from my perspective, it's kind of, I was starting to work when I was 13. I'm kind of thinking at the end, but I thought back on it, and I thought, really, I had to do that 12-year acting career, because how else could we have had that wonderful conversation about how I was actually in your guys' favorite movie,
Holy Moses. You're on the bus with the fig tree.
Yeah.
And you guys were, I think you may still be the only people who have ever, told me, "Oh, yeah, I know what that movie is, and I love it." So,
well, I don't know if you remember, but our reaction when you said you were in that movie, what? We freaked out. Because Steve and I, for years, since we first got together 23 years ago, we would talk about, the scene with John Ritter's the devil in that satin outfit. And
Richard Pryor's Ramses.
Oh, my God. Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
And James Coco is his dad.
That's right. It was a real classic, and I can't believe it didn't win the Academy Award.
We actually had Lorraine Newman on a little while ago. She has this autobiography that was out, and we brought up Holy Moses to her as well. Yeah,
that's a great movie.
Well, okay.
I always thought that could have.
You made me more proud of that moment in my career than I ever would have been otherwise.
I will say this now: if people listening are a fan of Mel Brooks movies, you should watch Holy Moses. It's right in that vein. I don't know who directed it or wrote it,
but
it was
cluster of similar writers who were all friends with each other, and
the director was a guy who had done short films on Saturday Night Live, and his name escapes me right now. But I think he might have been the guy behind the
Mr. Bill,
something like that. Yeah.
Okay, I believe it.
So,
listen,
many memories with you guys, though. I especially appreciate the times that Matt O'Donnell and I were put at each other with a charity contest while we were strapped into that horrifying carnival ride.
Oh, the can drop. Yeah.
The drop. So you're trying to remember like questions, and I remember one year you even threw me softball questions about like meteorology, and he was getting them all because I was just freaked out about getting a lot dropped. That was really fun, though, as at camp out, and which is another thing that's just been so much fun to be a part of. And there was the time that you had me call in because you had an intern strapped to a toilet hanging from a crane over Independence Mall, I believe, and there was a thunderstorm coming, and you needed to know whether or not he was going to get electrocuted. So that was good. I felt like I did real public service that day.
Well, listen, so you're gonna be in the area, obviously, right?
Yes.
You're right. So you're not retiring down to Florida or something. So you're going to be in the area. You're always going to be who you are, and so we hope we can call up. Are you still gonna? I assume you're going to check the weather in the morning when you wake up, Brian. I mean, it's kind of in your DNA.
Yeah, I'll be checking the morning when I wake up at 1 in the afternoon. It'll be great. I'm still, I'm going to be around, and I will probably. I don't know that I'm going to be still keeping all of the connections to all of my weather model pages, but I probably will be doing a little deeper dive than the average person. But I've already talked with the Phillies about adding a second partial season pass, so I'm or plan. So I'm going to be down the Phillies a lot more.
Wow,
and,
great!
Actually, go on weeknights, and I'm planning to do some traveling with my wife. And my two of my 3 kids don't live in Philadelphia anymore, so I'll be able to travel and see them a lot more easily. But my home base is still going to be right in Delco.
And I heard you won't mind hearing Yo Murph from time to time.
No, I really don't. It's funny. A lot of people would say, well, I was going to say that, but you must be so tired of it. I never got tired of talking with people. And for me, I guess it depends on who you are in this business. But for me, when people would say hi or Yo Murph or whatever I always loved it because to me it was a validation that, hey, I think I'm still going to have a job next week.
Same.
Absolutely.
Us. Exactly the same. And that campaign, that was a great campaign.
It was.
That Yo Murph campaign. Did they just pitch that to you and say, hey, we'd like to do this?
What happened was Bernie Prezenica, our general manager, was down at a Sixers game, and there was some sports reporter walking by, and somebody called out, yo, whoever. I don't remember who it was. And Bernie was sitting there, it was halftime or whatever, and he was thinking, yo, yeah, we should do that. And he talked with the the creative services department, and they all sort of said, Yo Murph would work. So, then they came to me, and they said, it was really funny how it happened. They came to me and said, look, we have this idea for this thing, but there's a chance you're going to get driven crazy by this. And they said, we're going to do this thing with Yo Murph, and So I was like, oh, yeah, sure, I'm all in. And then they came back to me about 2 weeks later and said, listen, we want to make sure you understand.
Yeah, this will be your calling card from other people from now on.
It could have been worse.
It was delightful. They did 3 of those, and it was so much fun. And, the only bad part about it was that, I'd be walking down the street, and people would be driving their trucks and stuff and yelling out the window and saying Yo Murph instead of looking at where they were going. So
yeah, that could have been a problem. But listen, all things considered, it's very benign. It could have been Yo Ass Hat, which you would not have wanted. Right. So,
hey, for all I know, it might be.
I wanted to ask you.
Here that people are going to hear about this, and they talked about it on the air the first time this morning, and my reaction was, well, some people will probably be disappointed, but other people will probably be like, and other people will be like, oh, thank God, I don't have to listen to this guy's dumb jokes anymore.
No. I tell you what. Listen, it's you've carved out a very warm spot in the hearts of Philadelphians and people in the surrounding area. I have to ask though, as you move on, will we see Karen Rogers take over for the weather aspect of everything? Or
let me tell you, I will say this. Karen is, first of all, she's one of my dearest friends here. And I have to tell you, all of the people on this show, I mean, one of the luckiest things about my career, other than coming here as a reporter and then suddenly having weather land in my lap, which was not expected, one of the luckiest things was being put together with this wonderful team. And it's Matt, it's Tam, it's Karen, it's Matt Pellman, who's a real big part of this. He's here a lot, even when he's not on the air. And I was talking with the boss about it yesterday. We just don't have drama on this show. We just really enjoy each other. And how many groups of tight-knit people who have been together 17 years can say that?
Yeah.
I mean, you guys know rock bands fall apart all the time, and for me, it's, I said to Matt this morning, it's like, these guys were really my rock stars because they were just so easy to get along with. Karen is wonderful at what she does. And, I really am not on the inside of what's going to happen next. But if if it turns out that you're seeing more of Karen Rogers, believe me, viewers are going to be very lucky if that's what happens, because she's really dedicated and just a wonderfully kind person, and I think that comes out on the air.
I have to wonder, I assume as you were going in and when you were first starting over there, it had to be, oh my God, they got the guy from Holy Moses. We're never going to get screen time.
I did. Well, no. When they hired me, I did have to admit to them, now look, you're going to find out about this, but I was actually an actor for 12 years. I don't know if that's going to hurt me.
You know what, though? Listen, all the time, especially just the hours of waking up and you're going to be living more normal hours and the fact that you can travel and all that stuff. While we are sad, we're super excited that you're going to get to start this new chapter of your life, and it couldn't happen to a nicer guy.
Yeah, thank you so much, guys. And, it is a big decision. It's a big personal decision and became bigger for me as it came down the pike. And, and I didn't really realize that when I was first thinking about it. It's almost like, what am I going to do with my life when I get out of college, or who am I going to marry? It's actually a pretty big thing. But I do feel glad that I'm able to sort of do it on my own terms. And, honestly, coming out of this pandemic, which we're, of course, still really in, a lot of people were really hurt, with, their jobs being interrupted and their lives being interrupted. And of the many, many lucky things that have happened to me in my life and in my career, I also had a job through all of that, which Matt and I talked about that, Matt O'Donnell and I. It was really kind of a lucky turn that we happened to be in a business where, they needed to keep us.
Right. Yep. Absolutely.
So it's, but I'm able to go out on my own terms despite all of everything else, and that really does feel good. My only reservation, and not reservation really, but there's always a downside to everything, and the downside is that I'm not going to be around these wonderful people I work with anymore, at least not at work every day. I'm planning on staying in touch, and I already told Karen, I said, she's a beach girl, and I said, I am definitely going to be down on the beach. I can't wait to spend a day sitting next to Karen Rogers on the beach with two big styrofoam cups and something in them that may or may not be legal.
There you go. Hey, David, besides obviously your friendship and your coworkers and all that, what's something you think you might miss from this? Is it like getting a free meal every now and then, or tickets to events, or what little perk
well,
is going to be?
I was the one who I hated accepting any free things, and there's actually a limit legally or ethically for what you can do. But nobody ever offered me a $97 meal, so I think I was just yesterday. I was out picking up pizzas at a pizza place, and the guy recognized me and all that, and I just sort of commented as I'm carrying these pizzas out. Oh, those cookies look good. I'll have to get those. Next time I come. He's like, wait, here. So I got 2 free cookies. So
you got cookies
every now and then, but
cookies aren't.
I don't know if there's going to be a lot I miss exactly. Other than my relationships here. I've always been sort of a forward-looking person. Like I had friends when we graduated high school. They were like, oh, don't you miss it? And it's like, it was nice, but no, I'm kind of more interested in what's coming next.
All right, that's healthy.
So that's kind of the way I'm looking at this. I'm trying to draw the line between being, having new things to do, but not being too busy.
You're looking for you want to get bombed on the beach with Karen Rogers.
Yeah,
that's what you want to do.
Give a quick shout out to. I am still going to be involved in the Parkinson Council and the Walk to Stamp Out Parkinson's. It's coming up in October at the zoo. So I'd appreciate any of you out there, even if I'm not on the air reminding you about it. Think of me sometimes and stay involved with Parkinson's disease. That's a big one for me, and also the Purple Stride for pancreatic cancer and pancan.org. Those are my 2 big charities, and I'm still planning on being involved. So,
we would love to still have a reason to have you on the air. So when there are events coming up and you want to remind us of that, feel free, and we'll catch up then. Okay?
Well, that'd be great, because I will not have the pulpit I used to have at Channel 6. But that'd be wonderful. That will give you guys a shout when that stuff's coming up.
Excellent.
All right.
Well, listen, David, sad news, but we're happy for you. So thanks for checking in this morning, and our paths will cross soon, sir. I'll come down to the beach and get hammered with you and Karen.
Thank you for everything you've done for me over the years and for our program. We really love it. We love you guys.
Our pleasure. Thank you, David Murphy. Yo, Murph. Thanks, my man. Well, that was, man, he's just the nicest guy.
Yeah.
But listen, he's going to be even happier, and he's a forward-looking guy, which is really cool. And I was happy to hear that. Okay, so another surprise.
Yeah.
Kathy Romano's birthday. Not a real surprise. She didn't know it was going to happen this morning until we told her, but we have fresh from NYC, courtesy of the New York Bagel Butler, a tray of bagels to bring in, brought to you. Fresh from New York City this morning, the home of the greatest bagels in the world. I've never had a New York City bagel. I'm excited about this as well.
That's what I was weaned on, and Kathy, you know, it is the water.
They say it's the water, whatever
difference.
it is. My family still lives on Long Island. Every time we go, I mean, it's a must. Like, they know they're going to go out, get bagels, make sure they're there for us in the morning.
You guys want to talk to the butler?
Yeah.
All right, this is Josh, by the way. Josh is the bagel butler. New York Bagel Butler. Hey, Josh, how you doing, man?
Everyone.
Yo, bud.
I'm good. It's good to be on.
Hey, thanks for setting us up this morning. It was very, very cool.
Yeah, no, of course. It's all in a day's work. Getting up early, getting all the bagels, and bringing them right back down to Philly.
Speaking of getting up early, what time does your and whoever else works with you day begin?
So for the morning aspect of it, it's really just me. So I get up at roughly about 2:45 or so in the morning.
Yeah.
Get on the road by about 3:45 or so. Get up to New York by like 5:30 or so, and then it's packing up all the bagels and bringing them right back down to Philly. I hand off about half of them or so to the delivery driver, and then I do about half the deliveries myself.
Do you go to the same place every time?
Yes. So I make sure that, like, when I first started this was actually my favorite part of the whole business. I went on, like, a bagel tour all around New York and Long Island and trying to find, like, the best bagel. And this place just had really good bagels compared to all the others. Like, I found out that this place kettle boils their bagels, which
yes.
that they basically... Yeah, so, like, this is a big difference in a lot of bagel places that people don't know about. A lot of places do steamed bagels where they, like, put a bunch of bagels, like hundreds of bagels on a tray, put them into a steam oven, and then they get 900 fresh-baked bagels easy like that in 20 minutes. The way that my place does it, they actually put the bagels into a kettle full of, like, boiling hot water, which cooks the outside first, and then they put it into a fire-rotating oven, which cooks the inside.
That's the way. That's so wow. the places that I always went to, when I was up on Long Island, that they did it the kettle way. And now let me ask you, this place that you go to, how close is it to the actual state line, or so that you're not going out to Montauk Point to get these bagels? How far into New York do you have to go to get them?
Yeah, so I'm right now going to a place in Nassau County, so it's roughly like in the morning, I would say an hour and 50 minutes, an hour and 40 minutes or so.
All right, well, that's not bad. I mean, you could go Queens if you wanted to, but I guess Nassau County will get it done.
Yeah, I mean, a big part of it, too, like, I'm born and raised on Long Island, so I've, like, my whole family's back there, and I started this business, like, in the middle of the pandemic, which I was working from home for a law firm, and it gave me a good reason to be able to go home, visit my family, hang out with my dogs, and then wake up really early, get a bunch of bagels, and head on back to Philadelphia. So it was a good middle point for me.
It legit smells like heaven in here. I think bagels are my favorite smell. I can never pass up a bagel ever.
But as soon as you brought it in, that's the New York bagel smell. Like, it's different.
And let me ask you. So how is, and I assume this has been a little bit lucrative for you, Josh, has it not?
I mean, the money really hasn't been the primary focus for me. I mean, in all honesty, I know it's a business and everything, but the thing that I've been looking for more, like I said, I started this in the middle of the pandemic. I like to give back a lot.
Right.
So I always make sure to give back on all of our deliveries and everything. So right now we've donated up to like 7,000 bagels, maybe a little bit more at this point, since June of last year. And like between that and then also like the growing of a business, I mean, it's a small business. It can only be so lucrative in the beginning. But other than that, I've been really happy with all the press and publicity. Like the business has made it, like we made it onto Philly Proud, 6 ABC. And that was really like amazing because the donations, and then the Drew Barrymore show actually ended up seeing us. I had a segment on her show.
That's great.
That's pretty cool. Well, now you're on a Radio Hall of Fame show, so.
Yeah, I know. Congrats to
Thank you. Hey, I wanted to ask Josh, what is when can you order these? When are they delivered? How often can you get them? Walk us through that process, please.
Yeah, so right now with the summer, I've cut it down a little bit to Saturday deliveries, but as soon as things start picking up and everyone gets back from the shore and everything, I'm going to be opening up to most likely a Wednesday and a Saturday delivery. Basically, you need to order about 2 days beforehand, and that's because of, like, the bagel making method. Like, the bagels sit for a good day in a refrigerated box so that they can proof and, like, raise up and be all fluffy. So about 2 days beforehand, and on Wednesdays and Saturdays are the two delivery days. And if you guys want, I also have a coupon for your listeners.
Yeah, what do they got to do?
Yeah, just go onto the website, www.nybagelbutler.com, hit order online. It'll redirect you to a different order form, and then in the coupon codes, they can put WMMR, and that'll get them 10% off their order.
Awesome.
Excellent.
Josh, what is your favorite bagel combination?
Oh, that's a hard one. Jeez. So I probably eat at least like 2 bagels a day at this point. So like every bagel has a special place in my heart. Oh yeah, it's a lot of bagels. It's a lot of carby goodness. I love it. But when I go savory, I like to go with an egg everything with scallion cream cheese. But if I'm going sweet, the blueberry with we have a cinnamon raisin cream cheese. Like that's actually the bagel I picked up today from my bagel shop to eat on the way over here.
Josh, how did you get rid of your Long Island accent?
That is a great question. I've honestly never really had a Long Island accent. Back in like elementary, middle, high school, I used to be in like a chorus, like school chorus and everything. And I remember being in a Long Island school chorus. One of the big things that we learned was don't have an accent, don't have an accent, don't have an accent.
Okay.
So it was just something that, it was just drilled into me. And then I ended up losing it. And now here I am with very little accents any.
It's like Murr from the Impractical Jokers. Like everybody else has that thick accent except for him. Hey, and do you put out a weekly bagel newsletter as well?
Yeah. So that's something else I do for my customers. Like I like to predicate like obviously the donations and then also customer service rather than like most other things with the business because like the customers are the most important for me and I like to give them a little something extra with their bagels. So with every order I always put in like a newsletter that has like some local Philadelphia information and then a few like QR codes that they can scan and watch a few like YouTube videos while they're eating on their bagels just to give them a little bit of entertainment while they're eating.
Listen, you've done a masterful job of cultivating bagel culture, and the truth of the matter is that the only place you can really get New York bagels is from New York if you're going to be very technical about it, and so you have the business model should remain intact for quite a while.
Oh, yeah, that's something I've definitely considered. And, like, especially in the last year or year and a half or so, there's been so many different, like, bagel operations popping around Philadelphia. And, like, it's great to see. But I've tried them, and they're just not New York bagels. And that's where my bagels are really better than some others because they have that New York quality to them.
By the way, on the NY Bagel Butler newsletter, there's a joke of the day.
Okay, and what is it?
What do ghosts put on their bagels? Scream cheese.
Like a ghost that makes someone scream.
Scream, and that's that's how it goes. Oh man, I love it. All right, well, listen, Josh, this is we've actually been salivating for a couple of weeks now, waiting for this to happen. We had to wait for Kathy's birthday, but we appreciate you playing along and setting us up this. So we're going to dive into those right now. But we appreciate it, man, and thank you so much. And we'll be ordering again.
Yes,
for
we
sure.
will. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I love that. And thanks for having me on. It was really a great time talking to some Radio Hall of Famers.
Oh, thank you, sir. Let's give it up for the Bagel Butler. Josh, which, by the way, and it's nybagelbutler.com if you'd like to get him. But he drives out 2-3 o'clock in the morning, gets them, brings them back. Good to go, man.
And listen, if you're from New York, you know what we're talking about. If you're not, try it.
Yeah. Right.
Honestly, order from him and try it.
I'm about to. And you know what I'm not going to do? I'm not going to sit here and bagel, butter or cream cheese one up right now and eat it on the air. I'm going to enjoy it off here. I'm going to really, because usually I get to take a bite and I sit there and go,
especially
and
a bagel.
wish I could eat more of it when I can't because we're in the middle of talking. So when we break, I'm going to have one. You guys can set yourselves up now.
You're going to do your real Preston, enjoy this food.
That
eating.
I am.
Well, when he mentioned the kettle, that's what you're looking for. We used to have a place right, and when my wife and I first got married, we got our first apartment, there was a place right across the street, a bagel place that used the kettle, and you could see it. and they had pressed like almost like a big oar where they're turning the bagels over, and it's really cool.
By the way, and I'm okay with this, but I'm just curious. Do you guys make fun of me at how I eat behind my back?
No. Okay, no, but I remember.
No, Kathy makes fun of you in front of your face.
Right. Yes, no, I'll do it right now. Yeah. No, but I remember the first time. I remember you were eating an apple, I think, and I was like, "It's an apple. Like, why is he going? Like he hasn't had an apple before? I don't understand."
It's gonna be my regular Saturday night thing, baby.
I love food.
Oh yeah.
Oh my.
And then it was the sandwich in the meeting. I remember looking. I'm like, that. I don't even really like deli meat on bread, but like he's making it look so good by the way he like holds it and savors it and bites it and then chew like the whole thing. It's an experience to watch Preston.
Bagel sandwiches. So turkey and Swiss on a bagel.
Oh, it's good.
It is good.
As good as it gets.
Oh yeah.
Preston, you're the only person I know that eats like my father. So where you have to enjoy a little bit of everything on the plate.
That's
so there's
important.
like a sandwich, and then you have to have like the little side on top of it, and then maybe dip it in the sauce because you get all the flavors together. It's so
There's
important.
a method.
Yeah.
There's definitely a method. Absolutely. All right. So listen, we should take a break. Is this happening now?
Yeah, it's happening right now.
All right. Before we take a break, the second stop on the Cooling Caravan is happening as we speak, and this is courtesy of T-Mobile and our friends at Dunkin'. And the email that we got is from, it doesn't say, but I'll read it. Stop number 2. It's from Donna Killian.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, there you go. Says, Galaxy Wire and Cable located in Horsham, PA, has been supplying OEMs all over the world. OEM.
Yeah.
With custom bulk wire, cable assemblies, wiring harnesses, and other related products. And we're a small woman-owned business started by Kathy Stussy over 25 years ago. And today, Kathy's daughter and son-in-law, Nicole and Eric Lutz, run day-to-day operations. Together with a committed team at the helm, Galaxy has become an industry leader committed to solving our customers' most technical problems and involving and improving product function. As can be said for most companies, the last 15 months have been trying for the team here at Galaxy. We are considered essential. Mainly, many of our customers are military, medical, or other critical industries, which require us to continue working throughout the pandemic. Every employee stepped up to that challenge, from those on the production floor and in the warehouses to office employees. We all practice safety measures to ensure everyone stayed healthy and safe. I'm still pretty new here in my role, but everyone has made me feel welcome. It's the best company I've worked for, and we are busier than ever and are going nonstop. It would be great to get some coffee in us to keep us going and give us a small but much-needed break. Thanks to everyone at WMMR, Preston and Steve, T-Mobile, and Dunkin' Donuts, Gadzooks, and Go Birds, they say.
Very nice.
So we are happy to have the Dunkin' Community Cruiser at your location. Free iced coffee for you and the entire staff at Galaxy Wire and Cable in Horsham. Now, if you're listening and this sounds like something to do, we're going to have more caravans that are going out before the summer is up. All you have to do is go to WMMR.com. You will see the Cooling Caravan link. Click on that, fill it out, tell us a little bit about where you work, and we might stop by and see you.
Love it.
Do that. All right, we'll break. We'll come back in a second. We'll eat bagels, and we'll do the Bizarre File. Stay there. We'll be back in a moment.
Preston and Steve on 93.3 WMMR.
The MM Army is coming to you.